Hello everyone, if you're new to my channel, consider liking and subscribing. It will make me feel wonderful if you do that. Thanks. By the way, I also have another Naruto and Luffy fanfiction channel. If you are interested, link is in the description.
King and Queen of the Pirates by Bleach Anime Fan 1. Once there was a legendary pirate by the name of Goldie Roger. Before he died, he had left a treasure at a place called One Piece. However, many pirates from all over the world has set sail to find it. Monkey D. Luffy and his twin sister Monkey D. Aya promised themselves that they will be the ones to find it and become king and queen of the pirates. Adios.
Sanji yelled in shock as the fishman slammed right into him from behind. He wrapped Sanji's ankle with his hair, throwing the cook right into the wall of the pool. Then, the fishman noticed Genso, who was helping Luffy. "It's that old man from the village. What a waste of time," Arlong's commander replied. "Damn it, he's seen me." Genso's eyes widened in horror. "Such a pathetic attempt to keep Rubber Boy alive. I guess I'll just kill you too." The fishman smirked and darted towards Genso. However, he was yanked back by his hair, by Sanji. Sanji swam in front of him, preventing the fishman from getting to Genso and Luffy. "Where did you think you're going?" Sanji narrowed his eyes at the fishman. "You foolish human." The commander laughed. "You really trying to fight me underwater? You can't even breathe down here." "As you wish, foolish boy." The fishman smirked. Sanji tried to launch a kick at him, but it wasn't strong enough as it was on land. The fishman caught it. "Too bad. Your kick is powerless down here. That's more of you human weaknesses." "But my fishman karate loses nothing in water. Quite the contrary. It's twice more powerful." He punched Sanji, making him lose more air. Sanji quickly swam up to get to the surface before he would drown. Air, air, air. I've let out too much. I can't breathe. Suffocating. However, Sanji was stopped as the fishman blocked him. He smirked as he looked down at Sanji, with his arms crossed, seeing him struggle for air. "Impressive. Crap. Let me through. I need to breathe. Move it." "You have amazing stamina. You sure you're human?" the fishman asked. Sanji narrowed his eyes at him, moving his arms desperately. "I need to breathe now. Didn't you just say, any man who hurts a lady is a piece of crap?" The fishman laughed. "And yet, look at where your precious love of woman has finally gotten you. You have no escape, you'll die by my hand. The old man and the boy he's trying to save, they'll die too. I'll kill Zoro, that girl, and the long-nosed guy, and I'll massacre the entire village. And as my final pleasure, I'll murder that traitorous bitch, Nami. Don't you see, your love is worthless? If it can't save you, then you protect no one, not even your little girlfriend." The fishman continued. Sanji saw his vision starting to fade in and out. Then the fishman grabbed Sanji, wrapping his arms around him tightly, so he couldn't break free. "I'll admit you have some skills, but still in the end you're just a human. Your body doesn't react well to a sudden change in pressure, does it? Let's see, I have a theory about what's going to happen to you. Your organs are going to explode from the inside out." Sanji yelped painfully, feeling his organs starting to crush in from the pressure as the fishman dived deeper down the water. "I can't let him do this. If I want to save her, then the first thing I have to do is save myself." "What's with him? He just won't die." The fishman went straight up, along with Sanji, getting ready to dive down again. "Very well, I guess we'll just have to try it again." Fishmen use their lungs to breathe air on land, but they use their gills to breathe water down here. Which means, the fishman's gills are useless on dry land and their lungs are useless underwater. Which means, forcing air into his gills should suffocate this bastard. Sanji quickly grabbed onto the fishman and breathed into his gills. Arlong's commander gasped, not able to breathe, and released Sanji. Sanji quickly swam up to the surface, taking in a deep breath of fresh air he desperately needed. He coughed and climbed out of the pool, next to Zoro and Aya, spitting out some of the sea water. "You okay?" Aya asked, concerned. "I'm fine," Sanji panted, as he tried to breathe. "Luffy?" Zoro asked him. "Don't worry, he's okay," Sanji told them. "Are you sure?" Zoro said, unsure. "Yeah, only half okay," Sanji replied. The swordsman raised an eyebrow in confusion. "Wait, how?" he questioned. "I'll explain later." Sanji turned around, glaring back into the pool. First, get your ass up here, I want to fight where I can breathe. The fishman crawled out, still gasping for air as he struggled to breathe. He narrowed his eyes, glaring at Sanji, and stood up and got into a fighting stance. You still don't get it, do you? It doesn't matter to me if I'm on land or in water. I'm just as strong either way. Now, you will witness the true power of fishman karate. What I showed you before was just a sample of what's to come. My ultimate attack is 10 times as powerful, and the chances you'll survive it are 0. Just as he was about to strike, Sanji quickly appeared next to him and kicked the commander right in his neck, knocking him down. You said my love is worthless, Sanji growled, kicking the fishman again. So then, I can't protect anyone, is that right? He continued, kicking the fishman repeatedly until he was knocked back right onto the ground. Arlong's commander got back up, completely enraged. He shot his fist out to attack Sanji, only to miss. Sanji jumped up and landed his foot right into the fishman's face. And now, face shot, the commander was sent flying into the building and crashing out to the other side of the compound. Sanji smirked, landing on his feet. Now it's done. He won't be back. Genso looked up while he was continuing to revive Luffy, hearing the commotion on the surface. What was that? What's happening up there? Karubi. Hachi. Arlong frowned as he looked at his fallen crewmates, seeing them defeated at his feet. In the end, they're all just seafood. Sanji replied, putting his shoes back on. A fish can't fight a cook. I don't know what he was thinking. This game is ours. You bastards, you killed my brothers one after the other. I'm afraid I've let you get too carried away, Arlong shouted, furiously. Well, that's your own fault. Aya replied. You should have just fought me and my brother instead of hiding behind your cronies like a coward. Oh, I plan to. Arlong growled, glaring at her. You're first. Okay. Explain, Luffy's half okay. What does that mean? Zoro asked, the cook. It means he's alive for the time being. Sanji explained. But if we want him fully back on dry land, I got to get back into the water. He looked over at Arlong. And something tells me, Ugly over there won't let me. We'll both distract him. You just get in the water and help Luffy, I had told Sanji. The villagers and the 2 bounty hunters watched, completely amazed and in disbelief, seeing all of Arlong's gang had been wiped out. Amazing. Those people beat 2 of Arlong's best fishmen, the doctor exclaimed. Genso gasped as he breached the surface. He climbed out, kneeling next to Nejiko, who was holding Luffy's head out of the water. I'm done. I can't hold my breath, he told her. Take my place, I'll go, she insisted. He's looking better, not so pale, Genso said in relief. He spit out some water. Nejiko replied. Did I miss anything? He asked. Nami's sister smiled, looking up to the sky with a hopeful look in her eyes. They're doing great, everyone's fine, for the first time. I think I have hope. These guys have fought so well. We may actually be set free. What a pain in the ass, the long-mouthed fishman remarked, disappointed. He stood over Usopp, who was lying on the ground in a puddle of blood. That long-nosed freak sure could run forever. But it just took one blast from my squirt gun to take him out completely. I guess I should head back. It's all over by now for sure. He started to walk away, leaving Usopp, who appeared to be dead on the ground. Usopp smirked, hearing the fishman's footsteps retreat. It worked, I'm alive. I'm so glad that I've made the ketchup star for such occasions. He thinks he killed me from the water blast. Run along, now, go home. These guys are totally freaking nuts. I don't know what I'm doing here. They destroyed an entire village and killed everyone in it. I know Nami can't do this all on her own, but seriously? He sat up, still shaking from the adrenaline. I don't mind Hit is scary. Let's see, I'm covered in fake blood but I need to look a little more beat up, like I fought bravely. I know what's missing. Dirt. Yeah, I'm too clean. Usopp grabbed some dirt and started to rub some on him, to make it look like he fought. I'm sorry, I got lost. No, I did my best, but he got me, he murmured, trying to think of something to say, to explain to the others. I was this close to the bastard and he got away. No. Sounds like I'm trying too hard. Usopp stopped when an image of Luffy appeared in his mind. We're friends, right? He still couldn't believe that Luffy would want someone like him on his crew. How about, don't cry, Nami? We all did the very best we could. Usopp tried to think of something else to say, shaking the thought from his mind. However, Zoro appeared in his mind as he remembered the swordsman. Never in my life did I imagine losing. He was never the one to back down from a fight. Usopp admired him for that. Where everybody fought very bravely. Usopp murmured softly before drifting off as he remembered Sanji. But the truth is that our idiot captain is far better than a gang who prey on a lady. Maybe, but I nearly died myself. Usopp tried to assure himself, then he thought about Nami, how she risked her life to save him, so Usopp could get away. It's only business. This is my only choice. Nami, no, to tell you the truth, my injuries aren't had at all. Really? Usopp gripped his fists. Then he remembered Johnny and Yosaku, who had placed their faith and reputation on Luffy, him and the others. Big sis Nami was crying. Do they need any more reason than that to put their lives on the line? He remembered Yosaku shouting. Then he remembered Nami's sister, Nijiko, as she told them about Nami and hers past. To make choice like that when you're only 10, do you know how hard it must have been for Nami? I fought bravely. I never quit. Usopp felt his eyes starting to sting, gritting his teeth, frustrated. I'm just a liar. There is more to you than you think you are, Usopp. You need to have more confidence and faith in yourself, like I have in you. Usopp's eyes widened as tears fell, running down his cheeks in streaks. I'm nothing but a coward. Usopp stood up and turned around and faced the fishman. He took in a deep breath and yelled out at the top of his lungs. Stop right there, you son of a bitch. Oh, you're still alive? The fishman stopped in his tracks, looking back at Usopp. That's right, big lips. It takes more than water to kill someone like me. Usopp shouted, pointing at him. When I left home, I left everything behind. Peace, safety, when you live your life on the edge you savor every moment. That's why they're able to laugh so much. That's the reason I went to sea. I want to laugh that way too. If I don't fight with all I've got, then I don't deserve to be on the same ship as them. And I'll never be able to face my friends again. Usopp's eyes widened in fear as he saw the fishman right in his face before he punched the sniper, knocking him down to the ground. You fool. You were better off pretending to be dead. The human brain is an absolute waste of meat, the fishman replied. I don't feel good. Usopp groaned. Oh yeah? Well, I'm just getting started. The fishman started to kick Usopp on his side, beating him up. Stop it. Usopp reached into his bag and pulled out his hammer. Usopp hammer. He whacked the fishman across his leg with it. He pulled back, hopping on it in pain. Usopp pulled out a rubber band, aiming at the fishman. Usopp rubber band of doom. The fishman flinched, closing his eyes, but nothing happened. He opened his eyes to see that Usopp had disappeared. Ah, crap. Where did that stupid son of a bitch go? He exclaimed, angrily. I can't believe this. Special attack. Usopp shouted as he launched a bottle at the fishman, who caught it, looking at it confused. Sake. Usopp fired a pellet from his slingshot. Lead star. It shattered the bottle, splashing the fishman with the liquid. Is this the only way you can fight, you coward? The fishman growled. There's no place to hide from my squirt cannon. Stupid coward or whatever, I can't run from this fight. I'm supposed to be a man. Although, it doesn't really feel all that great to be manly. If I lose, I'll die. At least I'll die a pirate, Usopp yelled back. Squirt cannon. The fishman fired multiple rounds into the dense woods that he saw the bottle was launched from, realizing that Usopp must be hiding somewhere in it. Usopp screamed as he took cover behind the tree, from the water bullets. Usopp opened his eyes, slowly, after hearing the firing had stopped. They widened in shock as he saw the devastation of the trees next to him, completely demolished and mowed over. No way. Why should I have to waste my time with such an idiot? This is too easy. I'll shoot you to pieces. The fishman fired again. Squirt machine gun. I promise if I can survive this ordeal, I'll never pretend to be a pirate ever again. Usopp hid behind the tree, as the water bullets hit it repeatedly. He covered his head with his hands. I won't be a coward and run away. It is over. Usopp quickly dodged out of the way as the fishman slammed his fist into the tree, shattering. What did you say is done? Usopp narrowed his eyes at him, pulling out his slingshot. This whole fight, alcohol lights on fire. He fired a pellet at the fishman, igniting him on fire. Usopp flaming star. Water, got to find water. The fishman howled in pain. He quickly scrambled away, running to the closest water source he could find, a rice paddy field. Water, water, water. Usopp quickly chased after him, pulling out his hammer. Usopp hammer. He slammed it hard against the fishman, knocking him down. Bastard! The fishman moaned as he twitched a little. Usopp screamed and slammed his hammer on the fishman's head, relentlessly. Usopp hammer. Usopp hammer. Usopp hammer, rubber band of doom. Usopp hammer. Usopp hammer. Usopp hammer. Usopp panted as he stepped back, seeing that the fishman was unconscious and also with multiple bumps on his head from his onslaught. The sniper fell back, landing in the water, exhausted. I did it. I beat a fishman. He grinned, proudly. He couldn't wait to tell the others, especially Aya. You see that loser, I beat your ass, Usopp exclaimed. I can't believe I actually did it. Who's a pirate now? I am Usopp, the pirate. Back at the park, Genso looking down at Luffy, worried as he held his head, desperately wanting for him to wake up. Breathe, breathe, breathe. You need to come back now before it's too late, for your friends. Najiko continued to press her hands on the Straw Hat Captain's chest. Arlong laughed as he looked down at Zoro, Sanji and Aya, who were completely covered in cuts. However, Sanji was more damaged as he was trying to shield Aya from Arlong's attack. Aya was kneeling beside him, trying to support his body against hers. You didn't have to do that, she whispered. Why would you do that? It would go against everything that I was taught, Sanji answered her. I don't like to see a woman get hurt. Aya's eyes widened a little, surprised by Sanji's words before she bit her lip. He shouldn't be wasting his life for her, putting himself in danger like that. Every fiber of her being wanted to yell at him, to scream at him. Why? Then Arlong spoke, snapping her attention towards him. I don't even have to touch you. You humans are so fragile that I can kill you just by playing around with just a little water. That's the difference between you want me. Arlong splashed them with water and surprisingly it started to cut their skin. Shut up, Aya growled, looking up at Arlong. She was nearing her limit as well. They all were. But she was not going to give up. Not after all of the training in the Marines, day in and day out, that she had to put up with. She was not a weak, helpless little girl anymore. He's not kidding. That's why the shark is the king of the fishmen. He's a whole different level, th. You should just die. Your lives are not worth that much. There's no one who will miss you, Arlong laughed. Arlong. Everyone's eyes widened in shock and saw Nami standing by the doors with the villagers, who were surprised as well. Nami? Aya called out to her, surprised to see her. Hey, Nami, I was just teaching one final lesson to these pathetic little pirates. Arlong smirked. What are you doing here? Nami narrowed her eyes straight at him, with a dark glare. I'm here to kill you. You want to kill me? Arlong laughed. Haven't you learned your lesson, yet? How many times have you tried to kill me in these last 8 years? You tried assassination, poison, sneak attacks. You must be aware that you mere humans can't kill me. Now listen, I won't put you in the ground, Nami, but you can't leave. You will remain here with us as our surveyor, forever. But, as you heard, I'm quite good-natured. If possible, I'd like for you to be our surveyor of your own free will. I'm giving you a choice. I will not hesitate in having my fishmen kill every last living creature on this island, except for you. But that's only if you refuse to come back as a Arlong pirate and draw sea charts as one of our own. And if you decide to come back with us, I'll be kind and spare the villagers their lives. But, I can't let these idiots live. They must be made an example of, so there's only one question. Will you come with me and save the people of Kokoyashi village, or be foolish and refuse my request by fighting along them? Your choice. With them you will be hopeless. With them, you will die. Nami, will you come and stand by my side or not? The decision is yours. Nami clenched her fist in desperation, thinking of what to do. She gripped the rims of Luffy's hat, tightly, on her head. This isn't fair. If I remain friends with Luffy and the others, everyone will be killed. But if I go with Arlong, everyone from the village will be saved. Their lives depend on my choice. Not fair, one of the villages shouted. No matter what she chooses, you'll never set her free, another one shouted as well. Luffy is fighting so hard for her, the others as well. I have to believe in him. Nami gripped her staff and turned back towards the villagers, smiling. All right everyone, We'll fight to the death, got it? The villagers cheered in agreement with her, ready to put their lives on the line. Well then, looks like they've made up their minds. Arlong frowned. Nijiko was continuing to revive Luffy when she felt a hand grab her wrist. Nijiko blinked in surprise and looked down. Suddenly, there was a fountain of water that shot out towards the sky just outside the gates of the compound. Huh, what? Alright, now to remove his leg weights, Sanji said. I see that's what you meant. Zoro groaned as he rolled on his side, getting up as well. He's awake, Aya shouted. Luffy's alive, Yosaku shouted, relieved as well. Hey, hang in there, you can't give up now, Genso shouted, happy to see the Straw Hat Captain now breathing and awake. Luffy coughed out some more water. Sanji, Zoro, and Aya were now on their feet, talking quietly so Arlong wouldn't hear them. Zoro leaned against his sword as support. 30 seconds, that's all I've got, he told them. Zoro. Aya murmured, worried, about the swordsman. She turned to Sanji, whispering to him. Get Luffy out of there. I'm going to help out Zoro with Arlong. Zoro placed the scabbard of his white sword in his teeth. You guys. Nami whispered softly to herself. That'll be enough. Sanji charged straight towards the pool and dived in, heading to Luffy. There isn't a fountain over there. Could it be that rubber man? Arlong murmured. Just as he took a step, Zoro slashed out at the fish man as he stood right in front of him, blocking Arlong from getting into the pool. Aya stood next to him, getting into a fighting stance as well. Just stay back. You're not getting anywhere Zoro glared at the fish man. Ah, Zoro, I thought I told you never to say that again. Now prepare to die. Arlong smirked. If I kick and break that leg weight, he'll be able to fight. Sanji dived down as he was swimming over to Nijiko. He saw her trying to pull Luffy's legs from out of the stone that they were trapped in. It would seem one with devil fruit powers is supposed to lose the energy even to struggle. Not to mention his powers, he will die. And if he's still alive, well, that wouldn't be fair, Arlong said. You okay? Please tell me you're fine, Genso asked, Luffy. Sure, I'm fine, Luffy nodded, looking up at him. You scared us, Genso shouted. Where'd your pinwheel go? It was cool, Luffy replied. We've got bigger things to worry about right now, Genso exclaimed, angrily. Wouldn't be fair. This game hasn't been fair from the moment we started playing it, Zoro huffed, narrowing his eyes at Arlong. Well, anyways, if there's a hint, I should be aware of it, correct? Arlong replied. Zoro gripped his swords tightly, about to strike Arlong when an egg was fired. Egg star! Usopp shouted. Arlong smashed the egg with his fist, the yolk splashed all over him. Zoro and Aya looked over from where the egg had fired. I got your back, you guys, Usopp shouted. Big bro Usopp, he's alright, Yosaku shouted. How brave, and he got here just in time, Johnny shouted as well. Go on. Give it to him, Usopp shouted as he cheered them on. He was standing at the hole where Sanji had crashed through. That's where you are, Johnny shouted in disbelief. He's alright, Nami shouted, happily. Hey Nami. I beat one of their leaders, can you believe it? I wiped the smug off his stupid face, Usopp said, proudly as he made a F-face of the fishman that he had defeated. Chew, chew, fishmen are so easy. Well, how the mighty empire have fallen. Looks like you've got bigger problems now. Aya smirked at Arlong whose grin was wiped off, after hearing the news from Usopp. You can't hide behind your buddies anymore. No, you beat Chew, Arlong said in disbelief. That's right, and now that I'm back, it's time we finish this once and for all, Usopp shouted. This is the end, Arlong. Is there any way that you can free yourself? Genso asked Luffy. Nope. Can't do it. My energy's way too low, Luffy told him. Come on, come out. Nijiko tried to pull Luffy's feet out from the stone. Okay, we'll just have to keep Arlong from getting into the sea. Usopp thought to himself. He reached into his satchel. I'll just keep him from getting anywhere. I won't let you. Have your way. Aya's eyes widened as she saw the octopus fishman, getting up. Hey, Arlong, I've got a present for you, Usopp shouted, aiming the rubber band at the fishman. Usopp rubber band of doom. You keep trying to get in my way. I take it you that wish to die first, then? Arlong smirked as he looked at him. Zoro, now! Usopp fired the rubber band, aiming it away from the fishman. What do you think you're doing, Usopp? Nami shouted at him. Now's my chance, now to get a piece of that long nose, Zoro shouted as he struck Arlong with his swords. The sword didn't slice through the fishman's hard skin. You fool, it's a proud nose because it's unbreakable. If you were to have more strength, you would have been able to give a little scratch. Arlong pushed Zoro back towards the pool. I had charged at Arlong, landing a punch in the fishman's cheek. The force sent him back a little only for Arlong to catch himself with his feet. Look over there, that damn octopus is up, Johnny shouted. What's he doing? Yosaku shouted as well. Seriously, I thought that rubber band was going to fly at me, Hachi shouted. He's the one that I was aiming for, Usopp laughed nervously. Hey, weren't you yelling, Arlong, huh? Nami asked him. Oh great, Zoro muttered, glancing over at the octopus. We're not done, Zoro. You may have put me somewhat, it wasn't for good, Hachi shouted. I'm still alive and now I'm going to finish off your friends. He jumped into the pool, heading towards Sanji, Negico and Luffy. No need to be concerned. Seeing as how you will all be dead anyway. Zoro's eyes widened as he turned back towards Arlong. The fishman lunged out at him, planting his nose deep into the swordsman's injury. Zoro yelled out in pain. Big bro! Johnny and Yosaku exclaimed. Zoro, Aya cried out. You've done enough, Negico. Leave the rest to me. Sanji swam as he headed down towards Luffy and Negico. Negico's eyes widened in shock to see that Sanji was not alone. Sanji was completely also behind him, chasing after him. A fishman! Watch out! I'll break the rock with a kick. Sanji stopped as he saw Negico swim past him. He turned around confused and his eyes widened in horror as he saw the fishman. Negico swam in front of him as she tried to block the fishman's path. What? No! Arlong grabbed Zoro by his neck. Zoro, Usopp called out. Arlong, put him down. Aya shouted. So, that's it, huh? Arlong smirked as he held Zoro. Way too easy. What's with all of these bandages? Did you have a good fall? Everyone watched in horror as they saw Arlong rip the swordsman's bandages off. Nami gasped as she covered her mouth with her hand. What's this scar? Arlong stared in disbelief as he saw the Zoro's scar. I can't believe he's still breathing. How can he still be alive with a body like this? Either way, he's about to die. He's going to die right here and now. If a person stays put, the wound won't open up, Zoro smirked. Is that right? Do you find your situation amusing? Arlong chuckled, darkly. Zoro laughed. I'm not talking about me. I'm talking about the Octoman. The swordsman replied. I thought I told you. We'll win this game. Sanji and Negico stared in shock as they saw the octopus fainted in front of them. As he was thrashing around, his injuries from Zoro's swords caused his wounds to open up more. He passed out from blood loss. That was too close. And you're the one who made this complicated in the first place, Sanji thought in relief and quickly turned back towards the Straw Hat Captain. He swam towards the block and kicked it with his leg, shattering it to pieces, freeing Luffy's feet. He did it, Negico smiled, happily. It's time to take care of that shark, hurry up, you idiot. Sanji saw Luffy's body slingshot back as they headed up towards the surface. Did he free you? Genso asked as he tried to keep Luffy from falling back into the water. Yeah, Luffy exclaimed and he was sent rocketing straight into the air from the force, flying above the compound. I'm back, he laughed. Luffy! Nami cried out, happily. That rubber bastard, Arlong growled. You're a bit late. Zoro smirked. Zoro, Luffy grinned. He shots his arms out, grabbing the swordsman. Aya's eyes widened, realizing what he was going to do. No, Luffy, wait, Aya shouted. Hold on a minute, what are you? Zoro shouted. Luffy pulled the swordsman towards him. Let's switch. He sent Zoro flying. Luffy threw his head back and head-butted Arlong in his forehead. Then he launched a kick, knocking the fishman back and threw a punch. It connected with Arlong's stomach. Luffy launched a barrage of more punches, smashing Arlong into the building. Yes. Luffy grinned. Everyone stood in silence, shocked by Luffy's strength as they saw the fishman fall. Some rubble from the building fell on top of him. Nice one. Aya chuckled. Arlong growled as he pushed the rubble off of him as he sat up, getting back up again. Is that all you've got? It's not working, Johnny and Yosaku both exclaimed while they held each other, crying. Nope, just a warm-up, Luffy said as he looked at Arlong, cracking his knuckles. That idiot. I'm going to kill him, Zoro gasped. He had landed outside of the compound as he was laying on his stomach. Luffy and Aya both stared down at Arlong. Luffy was stretching his body out. What a bunch of fools. You think you can actually beat me? You were better off drowning on the ocean floor, Arlong smirked. No, I don't think so. I like it up here. Yep, Luffy said. Do you not understand my anger? I saw my brothers crushed like worms, Arlong said to them. You'll realize soon enough. You should have quit fighting a long time ago. Do you think those two are going to be okay? Arlong took their attacks like it was nothing at all, Yosaku asked, worried. And did you see how far Zoro flew? Johnny exclaimed. Luffy, Aya, I've got your back, Usopp shouted at the two. No need to worry. Nami chuckled a little, looking at him. If those two lose, then we'll all die, Sanji murmured as he laid back. He tried to strike a match, to light a cigarette, but all of them were wet. He sighed and tossed it away. Yeah, Genso replied. If that happens, it's the end of the East Blue too, Nijiko said as she watched. Nijiko and Genso were watching along with him in the pool as they looked at Luffy and Aya, facing off against Arlong. Do you know what the biggest difference between you and me is? Arlong asked. Nose. Your jaw, Luffy answered. Not being a coward and hiding behind your minions? I had told him. Arlong narrowed his eyes at her. She chuckled, seeing that she was making him even more angrier. What are those two doing? Webbing, Luffy shouted. Your stupid ego? Aya shouted as well. Species, Arlong exclaimed. Oh, if that's the case then you're totally to lose. We're going to kick your ass, Aya shouted at him. I've had enough of you, Arlong roared as he charged at her. Aya jumped back as Arlong tried to bite her with his teeth. Whoa! Those things look sharp, she exclaimed. Arlong growled and grabbed Aya by her waist. He slammed her against the pillar and snapped his teeth, getting ready to bite her head off. Aya! Usopp cried out. Get out of there! Luffy climbed on top of Arlong, grabbing the fishman by his hair, pulling his head back. Aya struggled to break out of Arlong's grip on her until she managed to break free. She landed on her feet and rolled away. Luffy laughed and released Arlong's hair, making the fishman sink his teeth into the pillar. Oh man, that's bet that has to be painful. His teeth must be sharp, Usopp exclaimed. Arlong growled, angrily and clamped his teeth tighter, breaking the pillar to pieces. Luffy and Aya quickly ran away to get away from Arlong, putting some space between him. Everyone's mouth dropped in shock at what they had just saw. He bit though that stone pillar, Yosaku shouted. Wow, if he bites you, it won't just leave a mark. He'll bite right through your bones. Sanji thought to himself as he watched in concern. He was terrified as he saw Arlong grab Aya. His whole body was screaming to get up to get to her, but was relieved and felt his nerves lessen up as he saw Luffy stop Arlong just in time for Aya to manage to get herself free from the fishman grasp. Sanji sighed. Man, he really needed a cigarette right about now. You see, this is the inherent powers of fishmen. I feel sorry for you humans have been created with such limitless power. We've been on a different level since the beginning of time. You're inferior. It makes sense to just bow before me. You're so weak, your presence on this planet is deplorable. Don't you think that your time has come to an end? I'll show you the real difference between you and I, Arlong declared. Sure, go ahead, Luffy said. He and Aya both got up, looking at the fishman, smirking. I'm about tired of your talk as well. It's time we finish this. There's no way I'm losing to you humans, Arlong shouted. I'm not about to lose to a fishman, too, because Luffy and Aya both stated as they looked at him. I'm going to be king, queen of the pirates. Becoming rulers of the pirates? Don't be foolish. Such puny humans like you couldn't possibly conquer the Grand Line. Arlong laughed at Luffy and Aya. You can't even crush a pillar with your jaws. He's right, there's no way any human could do something like that. If those jaws got a hold of you, it'll do a lot more than just leave some bite marks. It'll snap through your bones like a butcher, Sanji said. So, what, quit your bragging, Luffy shouted at the fishman. You're not that awesome. Besides, smashing stones with your teeth isn't that smart. He's right. Enough talking. Let's do this. Aya smirked as she cracked her knuckles. You got this, guys, Usopp shouted. Fools. That's not the point. Every member of the human race is ignorant and weak, Arlong said. What good are you if you can't pull yourself out of the water? He lunged at Luffy and Aya. As he tried to bite them again, the two dodged out of the way. As a matter of fact, I'm worthless without my friends to help me out, Luffy said. He bent down and picked up some swords from off of a dead fishman, snickering mischievously. Huh, no way, Luffy's a swordsman? Sanji asked in surprise. Is this a joke? This isn't swordplay. You're acting like a child playing pirates, Arlong laughed. Luffy was swinging the swords wildly as he tried to strike Arlong with them. Arlong smacked one sword away with his nose. I hope you realize that this isn't a game. Luffy growled and swung his other sword. But Arlong caught the blade with his teeth, shattering it. That's enough, now die. Shut your mouth. Luffy shouted. He threw a fist and smashed it against Arlong's cheek, knocking the fishman down. However, the punch also shattered Arlong's teeth, breaking them to pieces. What? He just shattered Arlong's teeth, Johnny and Yosaku shouted. You're right. I don't have a clue how to use a sword, you bastard, Luffy shouted at the fishman. Wait, what exactly is he trying to say here? Usopp stammered, still in shock, seeing Luffy shattered the fishman's teeth with his own eyes. I'm a terrible sailor. I definitely can't cook, I can't even lie, and I'm a terrible big brother, Luffy replied. Luffy, you're not. Aya tried to speak out to him. Wait a minute, Luffy's the oldest? Usopp interrupted as he exclaimed in shock. Yeah, I thought you knew that? Aya replied to him, but only by a few minutes. And without my friends to help me I would have been dead a long time ago, Luffy finished. So you poorly admit how pathetic you are, Arlong smirked and laughed as he stood up, getting back on his feet again. You may be a fool but you certainly are honest. How does your crew feel tolerating this idiocy day in and day out? I bet they're sick of it. But that makes me wonder why they drive so desperately to save their half-wit leader. Someone like you doesn't deserve a ship or a crew. What good is a helpless rubber-brained captain to them? What can you possibly do? I can kick your ass, Luffy shouted. Well, get to it, you numbskull, Sanji shouted. If he dies I'm going to kill him, Zoro murmured to himself, and she better not die either. I've got your back, you two, Usopp cheered out. The villagers, along with the two bounty hunters, were cheering the twins on as well. Cheer all you want but it won't change a thing, Arlong shouted. The broken teeth fell out from his mouth and a new set popped out in their place. Luffy and Aya stared in shock. He got new teeth, Luffy shouted in shock. Well, that's what a shark does, Aya sighed. I'm a shark. New teeth will grow one after another, except they become stronger and stronger, endlessly, Arlong stated as he began to pull out his set of teeth, one by one, effortlessly. Ew. Aya cringed, nearly gagging. Whoa, Luffy gasped in amazement. As many as it takes, Arlong said, pulling out other set of his teeth again. Would you stop doing that? It's gross, Aya shouted. This is one of the many gifts the fishmen possess, Arlong smirked. That's so cool, Luffy exclaimed. If you haven't yet realized that fishmen are superior, you will very soon. Arlong lunged at the two with two sets of teeth in his hands. Tooth attack. Aya quickly dodged out of the way and Arlong made his way over towards Luffy and started to mercilessly attacking him with his teeth. Luffy screamed. Aya's mouth dropped a little, worried. Big bro Luffy, Yosaku shouted out. Arlong's eyes widened and quickly stopped. Arlong, it hurts. One of Arlong's crew members groaned, painfully. Luffy had used him as a shield against Arlong's teeth the entire time. Aya made a small laugh. The fishman dropped to the ground with a thud. What? Arlong exclaimed, horrified, my brother. You're dead, you stretchy freak. He glared at Luffy. How dare you use my inert brother as a shield? Well, how dare you attack my brother? Aya shouted at him and punched Arlong on his cheek, knocking him back. "You're the one who attacked me, don't you remember?" Luffy said to him. "That was pretty scary," Usopp whispered to himself. "Don't move a muscle, Rubber Man," Arlong shouted. He clacked his teeth together in his hands. "Hey, now that's an interesting idea," Luffy grinned. "Please, Luffy, no more ideas. You remember what happened last time?" Aya said to him. "Did he come up with some secret scheme?" Sanji questioned. Arlong charged at the two, with his teeth. Luffy and Aya quickly moved out of the way before they slammed their feet on the ground and threw back their leg, kicking Arlong across the face. Arlong's teeth fell out of his mouth, landing on the ground in front of Luffy. "Whoa, you knocked out his teeth this time," Usopp shouted. "Alright." Luffy smiled. "You fool, there's no point in crushing my teeth. You really don't get it." Arlong smirked as he sat up. Another pair of teeth grew from his mouth. Luffy picked up Arlong's teeth and put them in his mouth and snapped them together. Aya cringed in disgust. "Luffy, no, spit it out. You seen where it's been," she shouted at him. "I agree, Luffy, that can't be very sanitary," Usopp replied. "So, what, now I have sharp teeth?" Luffy said. The two bounty hunters' mouth dropped in disbelief. "This is why I'm embarrassed to be related to you," Aya sighed. "Really, what were you expecting? It's Luffy," Zoro commented. "How long do you intend to keep fooling around?" Arlong growled and attacked Luffy with his teeth, knocking him down. "The shark bit me," Luffy cried out painfully as he failed and rolled about on the ground. "So stop playing games," Aya shouted at him. "Why stop? I'm having fun," Luffy replied to her. He grabbed Arlong when he slammed Luffy back on the ground and bit the fish man with his new teeth on his shoulder. Arlong released him and Luffy got up, pulling Arlong's teeth out of his side. "Gotcha. And now we're even," he laughed. "So, you used my teeth. But your puny jaws aren't strong enough. Now listen, sharp as my teeth are, they're only useful when they come with powerful jaws like mine. Then they're deadly," Arlong explained. He bit into Luffy's arm. Luffy cried out in pain. "Luffy's going to get his arm bitten off," Johnny exclaimed. Nami let out a worried gasp. Luffy roared and grabbed Arlong, then slammed the fish man on the ground. Arlong released Luffy's arm and Luffy rolled off of him. "Is his arm okay?" Usopp shouted, worried. "If he took a single step back, his arm would have been ripped off," Genso said. "Yeah, but he wasn't thinking about how animal things work. That requires a tiny bit of brainpower," Sanji said. Aya walked over Luffy, to check to see if he was alright. The two noticed that Arlong had disappeared, after they thought Arlong was knocked unconscious from Luffy's attack. "Hey, where'd he go?" Luffy asked. "He disappeared." Aya frowned, wondering where the fishman had went as well. "Luffy! Aya! The sea?" Usopp shouted at the two. Luffy and Aya looked into the pool to see a fin darting towards them. "Hey look, a shark!" Luffy shouted. "No, that's Arlong," Aya exclaimed. "So wait," he went Ned, confused. "Ah, crap. This isn't good. His ability is doubled in strength when he's underwater," Sanji replied. "Did he run away?" Luffy said, looking around in the water from the fishman. "Luffy, get ready," Aya said to him. "For what?" Luffy turned to her. "For whatever he's planning, idiot," she shouted at him. Suddenly, Arlong shot out of the water at lightning speed, almost hitting Luffy and Aya. The two quickly moved out of the way and the fishman crashed inside of the fortress. Aya landed on her feet while Luffy landed on his face on the ground. "Oh no!" Usopp shouted. "A torpedo?" Sanji stammered. "Ow, ow, ow!" Luffy hissed as he held his stomach in pain. He was still sore from when Arlong had sunken his teeth into his side. "I told you to be ready," Aya hissed. "Well, I'm impressed you could dodge that. Good job. But the longer you evade your death, the more painful it will be." Arlong smirked. "Shark dive." He launched off from the roof, diving straight down at Luffy and Aya. The two quickly dodged out of the way as he slammed into the ground, right where they were standing, crashing through the side of the pool, going into it. "Whoa, just what kind of bones does that crazy shark have?" Sanji asked in surprise. His nose punched the ground. Arlong launched at Luffy and Aya again. The two barely managed to get out of the way just in time and the fishman dived back into the pool again. "Luffy, Aya, hide!" Arlong went into the sea again, Usopp called out. "Get out of there." "I won't hide," Luffy said, as he stared down at the pool, waiting for Arlong to come back out. "Neither will I," Aya shouted. "I won't run." "Stop being stupid, go and take cover before you become a target," Usopp insisted. "No way. I'm not going anywhere. I'm going to catch him and break his nose, come on, you shark," Luffy shouted at the fishman. "You got some nerve. It's pointless to try and hide from me," Arlong said. "Did you hear us telling you that you should go somewhere and hide? You barely escaped his last attack? If he lands just one direct hit, it'll kill you," Sanji shouted. "Luffy, Aya. Listen to us, go and hide." Luffy started to stretch out his fingers. Arlong launched back out from the water, slamming into Luffy and Aya. "They're hit," Yosaku shouted. "Oh no. Did he get them?" Usopp exclaimed, worried. Luffy grinned, so did Aya, as they held onto Arlong. The two jumped off from the fishman and landed on the roof of the building. "They're fine. They somehow managed to avoid it," Sanji sighed. Luffy giggled. "It's over, that attack won't work now." Arlong launched straight up to where the two were, knocking Luffy and Aya off from the roof. "You bastard, that was just pure luck," Luffy shouted. "Shark dive." Arlong fired himself again, heading straight towards the twins. "Fat chance." Luffy stretched his fingers, making them into a net, trapping the fishman inside of them. Gum finger net. "My turn." Aya grinned and grabbed Arlong and slammed her leg down on the fishman, kicking Arlong straight down. He crashed on the ground, creating a crater as he did. The force shook the building and the entire island. Arlong laid motionlessly. Everyone gasped as they gaped in shock, their mouths dropping as well. Some of the villagers cheered as they saw Arlong go down. "Is he dead?" Luffy asked. "I don't know." Aya shrugged. Suddenly, Arlong's eyes snapped open, his pupils were turned into slits. "Did you see the intensity of his eyes?" Genso remarked. "Oh no. It's the same expressions the Sea Kings make before they snap," Sanji said in realization. He must have snapped after Aya's last attack. Nami covered her mouth as her eyes widened fearfully, seeing the transformation. "His eyes, I've never seen them like that. You wretched humans. What can you possibly do to the mighty fishmen?" Arlong roared out furiously. He grabbed Luffy and Aya and slammed them into the building. "Whoa, that was crazy. It didn't actually hurt, but I can tell he's really looking madder," Luffy said, as he sat up from the rubble. "Oh boy." Aya replied as she sat up, rubbing her head. "Now, we've done it." Arlong charged at the two and Luffy quickly grabbed Aya, jumping up into the air, carrying her. Arlong pulled out a huge giant saw from out of the room, where Luffy and Aya were standing in front of. "Oh man, what's that?" Yosaku exclaimed. Nami's eyes widened, seeing the huge giant saw in Arlong's hand. "The saw blade," she cried out. "That thing is gigantic," Johnny shouted. Arlong roared as he jumped up to the two twins with the blade in his hands, ready to bring it down on top of them. Luffy and Aya quickly flipped off from the roof, landing on one after the other as Arlong lashed out at them with the saw, going straight up the building. "Big bro Luffy. Big sis Aya," Yosaku cried out as well. "If he doesn't stop, those two are going to get cornered," the doctor shouted. Arlong threw the blade at them again. Luffy and Aya crashed into the window, into a room, taking cover. They jumped into the building, shouted. Nami watched, seeing the room that the three had crashed into. "The left window, on the top floor. That's the room that," she whispered, softly. "That was a little too close," Luffy sputtered. "Tell me about it," Aya replied. She had cuts on her face from the broken glass. Arlong stepped toward the two twins with the saw in his hand. "There's nowhere else to run, you two and me here, at the highest level of Arlong Park," he said. "At last, the time of your death has come." "What is this room? There's a lot of paper," Luffy questioned as he looked around. Aya noticed as well, seeing that there was piles of papers stacked everywhere. "This isn't just any room. This is the room where I made Nami draw all of the sea charts for me," Arlong said. "This is Nami's room?" Luffy asked. "These sea charts are what she's worked on all these years. Just look around you, these maps are more valuable than any amount of treasure. You see, to us fishmen, collecting data about the ocean is a simple affair. To put it simply, they're raw information. To put it into a chart is a difficult task, that's why I need a surveyor. And that is the sole reason why I'm keen on keeping that woman in my possession. She's too good for human trash like you. Her talents should be used solely for building the mighty Arlong Empire. Now listen, Nami belongs to me. Is that so? Luffy said. And you're interfering in her business, you human s, Arlong shouted. She's not your friend. I don't care. I don't care what you say. Luffy narrowed his eyes at the fishman, glaring at him. "'Cause Nami is our navigator." A quill pen rolled off from the table, landing near Luffy. "This pen, it's stained with blood," Luffy said, holding the quill pen in his hand. "In order for me to obtain world supremacy, her sea charts are absolutely vital," Arlong smirked. "She will continue to draw the sea charts for my own ambitions, and once her charts give me full knowledge of all the world's oceans, we fishmen will be totally invincible and the world shall kneel before us. The first step is this island, then we'll move on to the whole East Blue. You can never use her like me. She will be wasted on you." "What the?" The shark saw. It won't budge. Arlong's eyes widened as he tried to pull the blade away from Luffy. Luffy smashed the blade, completely shattering it with his bare hand. "No. Use her?" Luffy's eyes widened enraged. "They stopped fighting," Johnny shouted. "What's going on in there?" Yosaku shouted as well. "Luffy," Nami whispered softly to herself. "You bastard. What do you take her for?" Luffy exclaimed, furiously. Arlong laughed. "She's an inferior creature, but she has visions far and above her peers. If all of the other humans knew of it, then they would be after her well. She has a place and it's here beside me. Can't you understand that? I can give her everything she needs. And the only that she needs to do is to continue drawing those marvelous charts for me. So, Nami will forever be my tool. Although, she'll be my friend." Arlong smirked and laughed evilly. Luffy slammed his leg into the desk, sending it flying out of the room, crashing through the wall, outside. "What is that?" Johnny shouted. "A desk?" Sanji questioned. "It's a desk," Usopp shouted, confused as well. "It's okay, it was just a desk." Sanji sighed in relief. "Man, I was scared. I thought that was Big Bro Luffy for sure," Yosaku said in relief. "Hold on, I don't want to hear that kind of talk from you. Have you lost your faith?" Johnny shouted at him. "What? No, you were scared too, Johnny," Yosaku argued. "Don't be stupid. I thought that was Arlong flying through the air," Johnny explained to him. "Luffy." Nami gripped Luffy's hat with her hand as she watched her desk falling out of the room. Countless sea charts scattered in the wind, sailing away. The desk crashed into the ground, completely destroyed. "What do you think you're doing?" Arlong exclaimed, angrily. Aya joined in as well, seeing what Luffy was doing, and kicked the room apart, helping him. Everyone heard the noise that was coming from the room at the top of the building. Countless of items were being tossed out. "Whoa, what's going on? Why's on that stuff being thrown out of there?" Usopp shouted. Nami watched as she saw her memories rewind in her head when she joined the Arlong pirates and Arlong showing her to her map room. "Stop it, now," Arlong growled. He tried to slash at Luffy and Aya, but they jumped out of the way and the saw blade sliced charts, instead. "The charts!" Luffy kicked some out of the room, outside. "Dumb brat, you can't trick me that easily, trying to draw a fake chart," Arlong shouted at Nami. He slapped her, knocking Nami out of her chair. He was holding a picture of Belmere that she had drawn. "I can't believe you waste your time drawing crap like this. If you ever try to pull a stunt like this again, I'll drag all of those villagers in here and make you watch as I crush every single one." He tore the picture in front Nami. "Damn you, both. That's a year's worth of work, 8 years planning and ambition," Arlong shouted, angrily at the two. He grabbed Luffy and Aya by their necks and slammed the two against the wall. Luffy growled and stretched his fist, slamming it into the wall. "Wow, this fight's so freaking intense," Yosaku murmured. "Yeah, a fight to the death," Johnny replied. "Luffy, Aya," Nami whispered. "Now, you've gone too far," Arlong growled. He had bitten into Luffy's neck with his teeth, while pinning Aya down on her stomach with his foot, stomping on top of her. Luffy growled and growled Arlong by his nose, and Aya reached up and grabbed Arlong by his ankle, tripping him. Luffy broke the fishman's nose as he bent it sideways. You keep yammering on how much better Fishman are and how much you need those sea charts. I don't understand anything about that stuff, but I finally figured out how to save her. Luffy shouted at him. Arlong yelled out in pain, falling back. This room is anything but her jail cell. There's only one way for Nami to escape. I've got to tear this place apart. Gum gum. Luffy raised his foot into the air, sending crashing through several floors until it went through the roof, outside. You fools, Arlong Park cannot be brought down by some inferior humans. Especially not by some freaks like you, Arlong roared. Pinwheel. Luffy slammed his foot back down, smacking right into Arlong. The blow sent the Fishman crashing down the floors. The force from the blow even knocked Arlong's Jolly Roger flag off from the top of the building. Everyone watched in shock as well in horror as they saw that the building was starting to give away. Oh no, it looks like Arlong Park is coming down, Johnny shouted. Big sis, we've got to go, Yosaku shouted as he pulled Nami with him. But, Luffy and Aya are still inside, Nami shouted. We can't, Luffy's still. Luffy. Aya. Sanji shouted as he watched the building collapse, caving into the ground into a pile of rubble. Luffy. Nami cried out, seeing the building fall. Luffy. Aya. Usopp whispered, worried. Was he okay? Was she okay? Zoro was napping when his piece of brick from the wall of the gates came loose and smacked him right on his forehead, waking the swordsman up. What the hell? And what's that noise? Zoro hissed painfully as he held his head. Arlong Park has fallen. Genso replied. We got to know who won, Johnny shouted. Luffy. Aya. Usopp cried out. Wait, do you hear something? Johnny asked. Everyone stayed quiet, listening in. Then they heard two voices coming from underneath of the ruins of the building. You idiot! You just had to bring the building right down on top of us, Aya shouted. We could have just did it from the outside. Everyone gasped as they saw Luffy and Aya emerge from the rubble. Aya was stretching Luffy's cheeks with her hands. Sorry, I wasn't thinking, the Straw Hat said. You don't think at all. Aya stretched his cheeks out some more. Luffy slapped her hands off of him. Ow, ow. Ow, Aya, that hurts, he huffed, angrily. It's them, Usopp shouted, happily. Luffy glanced over Aya's shoulder, seeing Nami. Nami, he called out to her, pushing Aya to the side, ignoring her as she continued to rant at him. Nami, you'll always be my friend. Nami stared in shock at his words, tearing up a little. Aya lost her balance and lost her footing, falling off from the pile of rubble. She was expecting to smack right into the ground, but Sanji caught her in his arms, right before she did. She blushed before she jumped out of the cook's arms, landing on her feet. Glad to see that you made it out, Sanji smiled. Yeah, Aya replied, not looking at him. Nami noticed and smiled, seeing her then turned back to Luffy. Yeah, she replied as she smiled up at Luffy. They won. One of the villagers murmured in disbelief. They won. Everyone cheered out loud. Arlong Park has fallen. Nijiko, is all of this really happening? Is this a dream? Genso asked her. Good job, you guys. You almost did as good as me. Let's face it, I'm pretty much the star, but I'll cheer for you anyways because I'm super modest and I don't want to steal your thunder, Usopp shouted as he cheered along with the crowd, while they were tossing Luffy and Aya into the air. You really had us going there. Start dealing with the bad guys, quicker. I almost had a heart attack, Sanji said. As the villagers tossed Luffy and Aya one last time, they accidentally dropped Luffy and he fell to the ground. He felt his hat being placed back on his head and looked up to see Nami. Luffy stood up and the two high-fived each otherly. Aya high-fived her also, laughing as well. Okay, hold it right there. Everyone looked and saw the Marine Colonel walking up, as well as some of his soldiers. Damn, it's him. One of the villagers replied. What a lucky it today is, very nice. I was the entire fight and I must say good work. The Marine smirked. I can only assume that your victory here was some sort of bizarre accident and without the fishmen, leaves the rift raft in your crew. However, now that Arlong is out of the picture, I'll be taking all of the money I was supposed from him and in addition to all of the treasure in Arlong Park. Now, drop your weapons. Colonel Nezumi, of Branch 16, gets all the credit. The Marine was grabbed by Zoro from behind as he walked over and lifted the colonel up by his collar. Zoro, Aya smiled. I see you're trying to rain on these people's parade, now that's plain rude. The swordsman said. Luffy, Zoro, Sanji, Usopp, and Aya all started to take turns beating and pulverizing the colonel and the soldiers into a pulp until they laid on the ground in a bloodied pile. You'll be sorry, I can promise you that, the Marine colonel shouted. You still talking? Zoro frowned. This is for shooting Negico and all for mercilessly destroying Belmir's tangerine orchard. Nami whacked the Marine across the face with her staff, knocking him into the pool. Colonel! One of the soldiers shouted out. Thanks Nami. That felt good. Negico laughed as she winked at her. 1,000 more and we'll call it even, Genso shouted. I like this guy. Aya chuckled. Nami bent down at the Marine colonel as he climbed out from the pool and grabbed him by his mustache, pulling on it. What you're going to do is clean up after those fishmen. Then you're going to help rebuild the town of Gosa and you won't lay a finger on any of the valuables in Arlong Park. That's the island's money now, got it? She stated. Yeah, okay anything you say, the Marine nodded. And there's one more thing, give me my money back, jerk, Nami shouted at him. I promise, I'll give every belly back, the Marine cried out, shaking his head, furiously. The colonel and the soldiers were crammed into a small barrel barely enough to fit them all, sending the group sailing away in the pool as they drifted off towards the sea. I'll get you, you pirates, the colonel shouted. Luffy is your captain, right? Mark my words, major things are going to happen. 'Cause you made me angry? I swear you'll regret this, I'll get my revenge, just you wait and see. Major things are going to happen? Sanji questioned, a little concerned. Yeah, how does he know that I'm going to be king of the pirates? Luffy asked. That's not what he means at all. Are you really that dumb? Zoro said in disbelief at Luffy. Hold on, what's next? Are we in super big trouble or what? Usopp asked, panicking a little as well. What do we do? Well, first let's party, to celebrate a major victory, Aya replied. I agree to that. Zoro smirked at her. We need to tell everyone on this island what's happened here today. The villagers ran off as they headed back towards the village to tell the others. Hey Zoro, what's that on your chest? Luffy joked, pointing at the swordsman's scar. Get off me, quit it. Zoro pushed Luffy away from him. Great job Nami. Negico smiled as she watched the pirate group. To think our island would be saved by unruly pirates, the world is strange. Genso murmured to himself, watching them as well. Now, it's done. The spirit of Belmir can finally be at peace. The Marine colonel had finally made it back to a nearby headquarters. He was using a Den Mushi. Hello? Yes, this is Navy headquarters. A soldier answered him on the other end. Headquarters, right, good, hello. This is Colonel Nezumi, of Marine Branch 16, Marine Code 00733. I have a request, the colonel shouted. There really is no reason to shout, I can hear you. Listen, there's a pirate who wears a straw hat and a girl with green eyes with the medallion. Their names are Luffy and Aya. Aya? The soldier questioned. Wasn't she stationed off in the 13th Fleet? The last I heard was that she was going to be promoted. Belay that. She's a traitor. I hereby declare that the Straw Hat and his 5 crew members are enemies of the government, the colonel exclaimed. Luffy, all right. The soldier wrote down his name as well. They've managed to take down the supposedly invincible fishman Arlong and his whole base. I'm transmitting photographs of them now. All right. Huh? The colonel stared in disbelief at the low quality of the pictures of Luffy and Aya. Couldn't you have taken better picture than that? The colonel snapped at his soldier. No, sorry, sir, he replied. Okay, right after a quick verification, I'll send it in for approval, sir. The other soldier on the other end answered. Good, don't forget they're wanted pirates, the Marine colonel insisted. I want their faces on posters all over the world. Later that evening, everyone returned back to the village. The villagers began to celebrate and threw a gigantic banquet for the pirates in return. They were finally free from being under Arlong's reign for 8 years. Luffy was stuffing his face with meat. He had bandages on his face and his arm, where Arlong had bit him. The villagers were cheering him on as he continued to eat. Sanji, Aya, and Usopp were sitting together at a table with an umbrella, waiting outside of the clinic. They were checked over and treated for their injuries as well. Aya had several band-aids on her cheeks and some on her upper arms and legs. They were waiting for Zoro as the doctor was stitching up his wound back up. They heard the swordsman cries of pain every now and then, while they were eating. "He's still at it," Usopp murmured. "Well, you saw how he looked after that fight," Aya replied. "Yeah, anyone else would have been dead," Sanji said. Inside of the clinic, the doctor was just finishing up his work, sewing up Zoro's chest. The swordsman hissed in pain as he tried not to flail around or move, but it was hard to do so. "You dumbass, did you think that this would heal on its own? Seriously, pirates are supposed to be smarter than this." The doctor frowned as he chastised him. "Doctor? I have never thought of that. Good idea. But, we need to get a musician first, right?" Luffy asked Zoro, poking his head out from the window from outside, looking down at him. The Straw Hat Captain had a meat-on bone in his hand, taking a bite out of it. "Why's that?" Zoro groaned. "'Cause pirates really like to sing," Luffy grinned. "That's true, but why is that first?" Zoro asked. Luffy ignored him, turning his head to the doctor. "Hey doctor, where's Nami? I haven't seen her around," he asked the doctor. "Well, if she's not in the village, then there's only one place she would go," the medic told Luffy. Nami was sitting in front of Belmir's grave on the hilltop overlooking the sea. Genso and Nejiko walked up to her. "Why are you still here, Nami? Your friends have been looking for you," Nami's sister asked her. "Hey Nejiko, Genso. If Belmir was still alive and I wanted to become a pirate, do you think she let me do it?" Nami asked the two. Nami's sister and the older man eyes widened in shock. "A pirate? What do you think? Of course she would never let her precious daughter go out to sea with a bunch of treacherous pirates." Genso exclaimed in disbelief. Nejiko laughed. "Yeah, she would," she replied. "Nejiko," Genso shouted at her. "Though if she had said no, that wouldn't stop you, would it?" Nejiko told Nami. "That's right." Nami turned to them and smiled and winked at them. "You're certainly are Belmir's kids, fair enough," Genso replied. He walked away, leaving the two girls. "Oh yeah?" Nejiko said. "Nami, you've already made your mind about this. There's no use fighting it. Live your life. It's what Belmir would have wanted," Genso told her. The sky began to turn dark as the day grew later. Back at the party, everyone was still dancing and celebrating wildly. Zoro sat down, taking it easy as he gulped down a jug of rum. Sanji walked over to him taking a seat as he sat down across from him. He needed a break from dancing and eating too much. "Boy, am I stuffed. It's nice to not have to cook for a change. So, how are you feeling, Zoro?" the cook asked him. "I think I'll be okay. I just need a little bit of rest," Zoro said. "That's good," Sanji said. The two looked back at the party. "Sheesh, how much longer can they keep this up?" the swordsman asked. Sanji smoked a cigarette as he lit it. "Nothing wrong with that. Considering everything that they've been through," he replied. The two glanced at the crowd, seeing Aya dancing with some of the villagers. Suddenly, Luffy jumped right in front of the two, startling them. He talked to them, while he also had a meat-on bone crammed in his mouth, chewing on it, making it harder to understand what he was saying. "Hey Sanji, where did you get that melon that you had? I want to give it a try," Luffy asked him. "It isn't polite to talk with your mouth full," Zoro frowned at him. "Oh, I don't know. It was raw ham melon with raw ham on top," Sanji told Luffy. Luffy's eyes grew bigger. "Raw ham melon? Where did you find it?" he exclaimed. "I can't remember, the whole town is basically one giant buffet. Good luck finding it," Sanji told him. Just as he looked up, Sanji saw that Luffy was nowhere around. He ran off. Zoro said. Sanji stood up as he stretched his arms. "Now that my belly's full, time to dance." "Hey, what are you going to?" Zoro watched as he saw Sanji running up to a villager who was dancing with Aya. He saw Aya froze when he heard Sanji ask her to dance with him. He could see that she was uncomfortable and didn't know what to do or say to him. She responded by running away from him. Zoro laughed to himself as he watched the cook chased after her with hearts in his eyes. Aya sighed to herself as she looked back, seeing that Sanji was no longer following her. She had lost him in a small crowd of village women, seeing him turn his attention towards them. She saw Usopp standing on top of a platform that he made himself with stacked items. She saw that he looked a little drunk and were most of the villagers and herself. "I am Captain Usopp. I destroyed the strongest of all the fishmen. Let's sing about me. Let's sing," he shouted, happy and proudly at the top of his lungs. In the clinic, Nami was laying down on the bed. The doctor was trying to remove her Arlong tattoo. "Can you get rid of it?" Nami asked him. "I'll do my best. But, you do realize that this is a tattoo. There's bound to be some scarring left over when I'm done," the doctor explained. "I was stupid. I knew it wouldn't come off." Nami sighed. She held out a folded piece of paper out to him. "Hey doc, I think I'd like a new tattoo, like this." Genso was celebrating quietly on top of the hill, at Belmir's grave. He poured a bottle of rum. "Belmir, your daughters are strong young women. You'd be so proud of them. It's like I'm standing right in front of you again. We're not going to waste a single moment now. So much has been lost. Everyone has had to make terrible sacrifices. Which is why I don't care if I look like a fool. I am happy for the first time in a long while." Raw ham melon. Genso nearly felt his heart stop for a minute, completely startled. He looked behind him to see Luffy, with his meat. "Man, there's no food up here." "Be quiet," Genso shouted at him. Luffy blinked as he saw Genso in front of him as well as Belmir's grave. "A grave? Did somebody die?" Luffy asked. "Yes, a long time ago," Genso said, softly. Luffy bowed his head, slightly. "Oh, I'm sorry. I give you to my conveniences. Wait, that's not right," he murmured to himself, trying to think what was the correct saying. "My deepest condolences," Genso corrected him. "Yeah, that's it," Luffy grinned. "Listen boy, I know Nami's going away with you. She has her mind set on becoming a pirate and that's dangerous business. And I'm fine with that, it can't be helped. But, if any of you do anything to hurt her, I will kill you," Genso warned him. Luffy looked at him, confused. "I'm not going to hurt her," he replied. "You sure?" Genso demanded. Luffy nodded his head. "I'm sure." As the night grew longer, the party was still going. Several villagers were dancing, while some were passed out from drinking and eating too much. Sanji and Zoro were asleep as well. Usopp and Aya were sitting together on the platform as they watched the villagers. Their faces were flushed, very drunk as well. "I can't believe you're drunk only after a few drinks," Usopp replied. Aya laughed. "I know," she replied as she stared at him. Then she felt herself slowly moving towards him. She couldn't control herself. Just once, she just wanted to have this. Even when she knew that she was slowly dying, she didn't care anymore. She could practically hear Usopp in her mind laughing at her, "I told you so." More maybe it was. She didn't know, but Aya did know one thing. She felt something for Usopp. Several fireworks went off in the sky. Usopp's eyes widened as he felt Aya pressed her soft chapped lips against his. His whole body tensed up and he froze in place. He didn't move a muscle. This can't be happening. This was a dream that he never wanted to wake up from. He returned the kiss as he pressed his lips up against hers while the fireworks continued to explode around them. Back at Belmir's house, Nami was packing up some of her belongings, getting ready. She tied up a large bag that was full on money and placed a written knot on top of it. Nami sighed to herself as she looked around her home for possibly could be the last time in a while. She didn't know when she would be back from her journey. As she did, memories of herself and Belmir as well as her sister went through her mind. "Wow! What's up with all of the food?" Nami exclaimed, surprised. Her sister was confused and surprised as well. Nami and Nijiko were sitting together at the table that had a lot of food on it in front of them. Belmir smiled, looking at them. "Do you two know what today is? It's the anniversary of the day we met. We're celebrating the day that you became my daughters." The time Nijiko and her were crying together on Belmir's lap when a sudden storm came and ruined their crops. They tried to save it, but weren't able to. "Hey, don't cry. It's just a storm. So what if it ruins our crops? We need to learn to be strong, girls. So we can smile even during hardships. Do that and nothing will ever stop you. Show me those smiles," Belmir told them. Next, Nami remembered when she showed Belmir the map of the island that she had drawn. "I see that you can draw land maps now as well as sea charts," Belmir said. I wanted the book to study navigation, Nami told her. Navigation as well, her mother questioned. You're going to be a navigator? Nojiko asked. That's right. I'm going to guide ships around all the oceans of the world. And I'll be able to make maps of the far-off places that I go, Nami smiled. So, this island map is the first step to realizing your dream, is that it? Belmir said, smiling as well. Nami smiled as she looked around her old home one last time for what could be the last time. She didn't know when she'll be back while she was on her journey. Nami looked at the table and envisioned that Belmir was sitting at it behind her. Well, Belmir, we've finally made it. It took 8 long years but we're finally free. The village and me. It's just like you told us when we were children. Be brave and smile and nothing will be able to stop you. It's all true. Arlong's gone and now everybody is so happy to be free. And me, I'm finally going to leave this island. But don't worry, I'll be okay. I'm going with good strong people, like you. And this last map is all that I have left to remind me that none of that really matters anymore, right? 'Cause now, I'll start again. And every map that I'll draw will be for me and nobody else. This time when I see the world, it'll be with all of my friends. You know that's what I always wanted. Anyways, I'm just trying to say goodbye because I don't know if I'll be back. Nami picked up her bag of belongings and started headed to the front door. I'm going now, okay. Just as Nami took a step, she felt something push her on her back, out the door. She gasped and looked behind her, only to see that there was nobody there. Nami frowned in confusion before she smiled and headed off. The sun was slowly rising up in the sky, marking a new day. Usopp groaned as felt his head pounding, feeling the hangover from the alcohol. He blinked as he opened his eyes until they shot open in shock. Seeing Aya lying next to him, Usopp nearly yelped in shock before he quickly placed a hand on his mouth. So, it wasn't a dream. She really did kiss him. He saw Aya shifted a little in her sleep. She was so beautiful. Her arm was draped across his stomach as she cuddled next to him. Slowly, Usopp sat up and pulled Aya's arm off of him carefully, trying not to wake her up. Aya rolled and turned on her side away from him, still sleeping. Hey, Usopp, you up there? Usopp jumped and made a startled yelp by Zoro's voice. Why yeah, I'm here, Usopp shouted down to him as he leaned over. Have you seen Aya? We don't know where she went. Zoro asked him. Usopp was about to answer when Zoro suddenly jumped onto the platform. Seeing the two, Usopp moved away, holding his hands out. Nothing happened. Everything's fine. See, she's right here, he said, sheepishly. Zoro raised his eyes, giving the sniper a suspicious look. He shrugged it off and picked Aya up, carrying her in his arms. Well, anyways, she's definitely going to have a killer hangover when she wakes up, the swordsman replied. Why yeah, Usopp said. He watched as he saw Zoro jump down from the platform with Aya and Usopp climb down, following behind him. The two headed back to the Mary and Zoro placed Aya in the bed, closing the door behind him. Zoro told Luffy not to bother her since she was still sleeping and needed some more rest. Luffy laughed hearing that sister had passed out from drinking too much as Usopp told him what had really happened. But, he left out the part that the two of them were together, last night. Usopp shivered as he felt Sanji's gaze on him, behind his back, which felt like daggers. He knew that something was up as well. Zoro and Usopp started to carrying crates of supplies back onto the ship to stock up. This is the last one, right? Usopp asked, setting a crate down. Yeah, is that everything? Luffy asked. Alright, we're stocked up on everything that we need. I think we're good to go, Zoro said. You know, we've only been on this island for a day but it feels like a lifetime, Usopp replied. Yeah, Luffy grinned. The two bounty hunters were with the villagers as well as they were telling the pirates goodbye. We can't thank you enough for everything that you've done for us. But, we've got to go back to our regular jobs as bounty hunters, Yosaku shouted. So this is goodbye. I hope we get to meet again someday, Johnny shouted as well. Zoro smirked as he nodded to them, waving goodbye as well. See you around. Yeah, now it's time to get going, Luffy shouted, excitedly. But we can't leave yet. We got to wait for Nami, Sanji exclaimed. Well, maybe she's not coming, Zoro replied. Sanji's mouth dropped as he turned to him and stormed over to the swordsman. But why not? If you try to hit on her again, I swear I'll break your neck. You got it? Sanji warned him. Why would I do something like that? Zoro replied, and rolling his eyes. She might not even be coming. After all, she has achieved her goal. Nami doesn't have to be a pirate anymore. She might be better off if she stays here with all of her friends and family, Usopp said. What about me? Damn it, without Nami on board I'll have 48% less reason to stay with you people and this stupid pirate ship, Sanji shouted. Hey, I'm still upset with you with the raw ham melon, Luffy pointed out to him, still angry. Why isn't she here yet? Usopp asked. What 100 million Baileys? She left all of the money? Genso exclaimed in shock. Nijiko nodded. She left all of it at our house with a letter, she told him. She's not even going to take some of it, but she worked so hard to get it, he said in disbelief. She'll steal more. That's what her letter said. There's no changing her mind once it's made up, Nijiko said. That girl, she didn't even give us a chance to thank her, Genso replied, disheartened. There she is, a villager shouted. Everyone looked up and saw Nami not too far off in the distance looking at them. Nami, Nijiko called out to her, then Nami started running fast. Set the sails, she shouted. I don't get it, why is she running? Usopp questioned. Luffy knew what she was doing. She said to set the sails. He ordered. What? Usopp asked, still confiding on leaving us with letting any of us thank her or say goodbye, Genso shouted. Set the sail. Luffy shouted. Sanji, Usopp and Zoro started to untie the ropes from the mast, releasing the sails. The ship began to slowly drift away. Wait, don't go, a villager cried out to Nami, trying to stop her, but she passed them. Nami, at least let us say goodbye, another one shouted as well. Nami, you can't leave this way, Genso shouted at her. You sure you want to let her leave like this? Zoro asked Luffy. It's not my decision, it's what she wants, Luffy told him. Nami ran past Genso and Nijiko and leapt off from the docks and landed on the railings of the Mary. She hopped off and landed on the wooden floor. Nami, Nijiko called out to her again. Why? Genso said in disbelief. Suddenly, Nami made a mischievous smirk and slowly began to pull up her shirt. While she was running past the villagers, Nami had pickpocketed each one and stolen their wallets. Huh, no way. My wallet's gone, Genso exclaimed. Mine too. A villager shouted as well. She stole my money, another villager shouted, angrily. That's a bunch. Nami winked at them, sticking her tongue out. Damn, you brat, Genso growled, angrily. Great, she hasn't changed a bit, Usopp murmured. I'd watch my back, Zoro replied. Boy, remember what I told you, Genso called out to Luffy. The Straw Hat Captain was hanging onto the side of the ship, waving goodbye to the villagers. You got it, Luffy grinned as he gave a thumbs up. Goodbye everybody, take care, I'll miss you, Nami shouted as she waved goodbye. The whole village watched as they saw the ship sail away. Nijiko laughed. I can't believe her, my little sister got us good with that one, she spoke. The doctor walked over to Genso and handed him the piece of peace that Nami had given him. Take a look at this, he said. What is it, Doc? Nami's will? Genso asked, opening it. Not exactly. That girl will never change. That's her new tattoo, the doctor explained. On the paper was some swirling patterns as it was attached to a fruit and underneath of it was a small pinwheel. What's it supposed to be? Genso asked. A tangerine and a pinwheel, the doctor told him. Hey, Genso, where's your pinwheel? Nijiko asked him. Genso smiled. He remembered as he had in memory. It was just weeks after the two girls had came to the village. He recalled Belmir yelling at him, saying that his face was scaring Nami. So, to fix it, Genso placed a small pinwheel on his hat. As soon as Nami saw it, she laughed, allowing Genso to hold her. I don't need it anymore, he replied. The pinwheel was slowly blowing in the breeze as it sat next to Belmir's grave. Aya groaned as she opened her eyes. Her head felt like it was going to split in two. She felt like death. She sighed as she recalled what had happened. Defeating Arlong, the villagers threw a huge party in celebration, drinking and eating a lot of food, running away from Sanji when he asked her to dance with him. Aya blushed, mentally kicking herself. Why didn't she just dance with him? Why was she such a coward at these sorts of things? Kissing Usopp. Aya's eyes widened as she remembered the feeling of his lips pressed against hers. Fireworks were booming and bursting in bright colors as they were thundering in the sky. Did it really happen or was it a dream? But it felt so real though. Aya slowly sat up, in which she instantly regretted. She covered her mouth and quickly got up, slamming open the door, running outside on the deck. She saw Sanji in front of her. He smiled as soon as he saw her. There she is, rise and shine, beautiful, out of the way. Aya quickly pushed the lovesick forlorn cook to the side and ran over to the side of the ship. She hurled the last remaining contents from last night's party over the railings. She wiped her mouth with her hand. Why is it always carrots? She doesn't even like them. Aya heard footsteps approaching her and she turned her head to see Sanji placing a glass of water on the railing as he stood beside her. I'd figure that you would wake up like this. Here, this is the best thing for a hangover. He slid the glass over to her. Aya took it and drank a few sips, feeling the cool liquid wash down her throat. Thanks, she smiled, softly up at him. Don't mention it, Sanji replied and smiled back. Hey, Aya. Aya jumped, startled, when she heard Usopp's voice. She looked down to see him waving back up at her. Aya slowly waved back, a little confused. Strange. He was a lot more outgoing than his usual self this morning. Normally, he was a lot more timid and soft-spoken. Usopp was sitting on the deck, working on some of his special pellets. Nami was getting the morning paper as one of Morgan's messenger seagulls flapped on board. Zoro was laying on the deck on his back, not too far away from the group. From the corner of her eye, Aya saw Luffy slowly creeping towards the tangerines, from Belmir's orchard, that Nami had planted on top of the ship. Aya walked down the stairs, meeting up with the rest of the crew. Well, look who decided to finally wake up, Nami smiled. How long was I out? Aya asked. It's already noon. Zoro replied. Aya's mouth dropped a little as she looked at him in surprise. She practically slept half the day away. She turned her head back to Usopp who was still tinkering with his equipment and walked over to him. Usopp tensed up as he heard her footsteps coming closer. Oh crap, what do I do? What do I say to her? Does she even remember what happened last night? Hey, Usopp, what you working on? Usopp blinked as he broke out of train of thoughts. His eyes widened as he saw Aya's face in front of his, leaning over him. Just some special technique stars. Usopp told her as he tried to focus anywhere but her eyes. Oh, okay, cool, Aya smiled. Usopp felt his heart beating much more faster. Should he bring up that they kissed? No, definitely not in front of the others. That's too embarrassing. They would never let him live it down. But why wasn't she saying anything about it? Aya blinked as she turned her head, looking at him confused. Usopp sighed when he realized that Aya didn't remember what had happened. Usopp, is there something wrong? Aya asked, a little concerned when she saw his face drop a little. The sniper's eyes widened and he quickly looked at her. And no, it's nothing really, I was just thinking of something really stupid. Don't worry about it. Usopp tried to reassure her. Aya frowned, not believing him. He was hiding something. Did something really did happen last night and she didn't know about it? Usopp, tell me the truth. Last night, during the party, did something really happen? Was it a dream or did we really kiss? Yes, we did. Is what he really wanted to tell her. Usopp's eyes widened, but before he could say anything Nami interrupted them. The two turned their heads looking at the navigator who had an angry scowl on her face, yelling at the messenger bird. You raised your prices again? That's a little steep, don't you think? Raise your prices again and I'll stop paying. Nami said, paying for the paper. The bird quickly nodded its head and flew away. What's the big deal? It's just one paper. Usopp replied, ignoring Aya's question. Just one paper? I buy these every day, Nami told him. Yeah, but there's no need to save every last belly so you can buy back your village from Arlong, you know? You can finally stop obsessing about money. Usopp pointed out. You're so stupid. Now that all that stuff is over, I'm saving money for me now. I'm not going to become one of those pirates who can't even afford to dress out, Nami shouted. Calm down, I'm in the middle of developing my special Tabasco star, Usopp hissed. An eyeful of this will make any man cry. Just as he was to pour the hot sauce into the pellet, Luffy smacked into him, making Usopp lose his concentration. The Tabasco dropped into his eyes. Usopp screamed in pain. His felt like they were on fire, and he rolled around on the deck. Luffy sat up, pouting. "Ah, come on. I just want one," he whined. "No, this is Nami's tangerine orchard and I won't let anyone lay a finger on it," Sanji shouted. He turned to her, smiling at her with hearts in his eyes. "Nami, can you see how well I'm protecting your trees?" "Yes, you're doing very well." Nami smiled as she continued to read her paper. "Sanji's getting used. That poor bastard," Zoro murmured. "I only want one tangerine. Just give it to me. You're so mean," Luffy grumbled angrily. "No," the cook shouted back. "The world sure is a turbulent place. They just had another coup d'etat in Vera," she read out loud. As Nami was continuing to read the paper, 2 pages fell out of it and fell on the deck. Luffy looked down at the pages, wondering what they were. "What's that?" he asked. "What?" everyone shouted all at once, in shock. "All right, guys, we're wanted criminals," Luffy exclaimed, happily. "Wanted dead or alive? $30 million Baileys?" Usopp exclaimed. "That's a whole lot of Baileys," Luffy grinned, proudly. "Check it out, I'll be seen all over the world." Usopp smiled as he held up Luffy's wanted poster. Sanji rushed over to him. "What? They put Long Nose in but left me out. Where are you? I don't see you anywhere. You're not there," he shouted. Usopp chuckled as he pointed behind Luffy to show him standing behind him. It was the back of the sniper's head. "It's the back of your head. It's not so great," Sanji grumbled. "Ah, don't be so glum. You don't have to be a captain to get your picture on one of these things," Usopp replied. Sanji's eyes widened, surprised. "Is that true?" he shouted. "Yeah, just work really hard," Usopp said, while Sanji looked steamed by his remark. "Hey, Aya's got one too," Nami said as she held up Aya's wanted poster as well. Aya took it from her, looking at it. Everyone inched closer to get a better look as well. "Hey, why do you have a high bounty than me? It should be the same," Luffy frowned. "I guess you'll just have to work harder next time," Aya laughed. "There's more," Zoro said, calmly. Everyone saw that Aya's bounty, which had $30 million, but instead of dead or alive, it was marked alive. "Alive? That's unusual," Nami murmured, confused. "I wonder why." "Hey, it's no big deal. I was a former Marine. They probably want to give me fair trial before sending me to the firing squad for execution," Aya explained. Usopp's eyes widened. Firing squad?" he sputtered, nervously. "Come to think of it, why did you join the Marines?" Sanji asked her. "Yeah, we hardly anything about you or Luffy. Why did you choose different paths?" Nami asked as well. "This is boring." Luffy walked away from the group, and hopped onto the ship's figurehead, S. "Luffy, wait. We want to know," Nami called out to the Straw Hat captain, but he ignored her. Okay. If I tell you, will you get off my case about it?" Aya said to the 3 crewmates. Nami, Zoro, and Usopp all nodded their heads, eagerly waiting to hear the two's backstory. Aya sighed. "As you know, Luffy and I didn't really have anyone growing up. Just Shanks and his crew and a few people on the island. We don't know if our parents are still alive or dead. But I'm just going to assume that they're dead." "Why's that?" Nami asked. "Well, we've never heard anything from them. Never received any letters or visits. As far as I'm concerned, they're dead to me," I had told them. "So who decided who should be captain?" Sanji asked. "We gambled on that with my pirate coin. Luffy betted on heads, I said tails. I lost, simple as that," I had told him. The 3 mouths dropped a little in disbelief as they looked at her, stunned. All this time, Aya could have been captain instead of Luffy? Fate was really strange, indeed. "So, why did you join the Marines?" Usopp asked her. "It wasn't by choice. I was forced to join. I only learned what I needed to know to survive out here. Just before my promotion, I used this as a distraction and took the chance to escape by jumping off the wall from the district that I was assigned at, stole a small rowboat and met up with Luffy a few days later. And here we are." Aya finished as she explained. "Just how high were you in the ranks?" Nami asked her. "It doesn't matter now," Aya replied. "Fair enough, but is this going to be a problem later on? Do you still have ties with the Marines?" Zoro questioned her. Aya shook her head, looking at him. "Like I said before, it was never my choice to join. I never wanted to begin with. So, no, I don't, she told him. If we're done, let's go to the Grand Line, Luffy shouted. Yet again, you don't know how grim our situation really is. This means all of our lives will be in constant danger, Nami shouted at him. Isn't it already? Aya replied. Nami sighed. Okay, this is not time to be relaxing in the East Blue. Zoro leaned back against the railings thinking to himself while the others were talking about on what to do next. $30 million Baileys. With that amount, I bet that headquarters has taken action. Not to mention that there will be bounty hunters to deal with. Sanji headed towards the kitchen to start cooking up lunch. Zoro went back to take a nap. Nami was continuing to read her paper. Luffy, Usopp and Aya were talking together when Aya spotted a ship slowly sailing in front of them. Hey, doesn't that ship look familiar? Aya asked. Luffy and Usopp both saw the ship with marine sails as it sailed towards them at full speed. The ship was in rough shape. It had holes and rips on the sails. Looks like they've just came out of battle. That thing barely floats, Luffy replied. That's a real shame. Putting scrap ships in the sea. Usopp said as well. The group saw a familiar face as the Marine Lieutenant Iron Fist Full Body. This is not a scrap ship. Are you guys blind? Have you forgotten the face of Iron Fist Full Body? The Marine shouted, furiously. Name doesn't ring a bell. Aya smirked. The Marine narrowed his eyes at her. You bitch. Oh yeah, you're that Marine guy from before? Are you stranded? Need some help? Luffy asked, now realizing who he was. Quit fooling around. Our meeting spells the end for you. Monkey D. Luffy and Monkey D. Aya. You're under arrest. The Marine shouted as he held up Luffy's and Aya's wanted posters. Yep, that's me alright. Luffy grinned. And the back of my head, Usopp add in as well. It says dead or alive, the Marine made a smug evil smirk. Yeah, but mine says alive. Aya replied. It doesn't say how much alive to bring you back, he remarked. You bastard. Aya gritted her teeth as she glared at him. She was already getting annoyed by this man. Now, take aim men, Full Body signaled his men to aim the cannons at the Mary. What's all that noise, huh? Zoro murmured to himself as he woke up from his nap. He got up and headed over to the port side to see what was going on. I guess they're going to shoot. Luffy replied. They're aiming right at us, Usopp screamed. I got this. Just leave to me. Luffy grinned. Why don't you let me handle this? Luffy? Zoro pushed Luffy away, handing him to Usopp, who then pulled the straw hat next to him, holding Luffy back. Yeah, relax. You just stay back here, the sniper replied. Whoa, hey, Luffy complained. Your story ends here. The lieutenant fired off a cannon at Zoro. The cannonball was heading straight at him. Zoro pulled out his white sword and sliced it in half as it sailed to the other side of the ship, and into the sea. Whoa, that's cool, Luffy exclaimed. That was awesome, Aya shouted, impressed. That's impossible. The Marine stammered in shock. He stepped back. Sanji was in the kitchen when he heard the explosion coming from outside. He frowned as he stopped what he was doing. Damn it, what's all that commotion going on? Sanji questioned. He headed towards the door and walked out. I was trying to take a nap. Zoro growled as he narrowed his eyes at the Marine lieutenant. There's lots more where that came from. Fire, Full Body shouted. This is bad, real bad. Luffy replied. What's bad? Usopp said nervously as he stepped back. The cannon backfired and exploded as it tried to fire another cannonball. The cannon had cracks on it. Luffy explained. Oh, that is bad, Usopp replied. You insolent little brats. Never mock a former Marine and lieutenant. We'll just have to go hand to hand. The Marine growled as he jumped off from the ship and landed on the Mary. Then, follow me. He ordered his soldiers, who also jumped off as well, following him. Your heads are mine. Full Body shouted as he tried to attack Luffy and Aya. The soldiers tried to attack them as well, but Zoro and Usopp fought against them, keeping the soldiers away from the two twins. Gum Gum Barrel. Luffy punched the Marine, knocking him back. Aya landed a hard punch in the lieutenant's face, sending him flying into the side of the ship. As the Marine was about to get up, his eyes widened as he saw Sanji standing over him with a dark glare in his eyes. You got a lot of balls, tough guy. Having a fight during lunch, I should kill you, the cook shouted. Unless you made a reservation, I'll have to ask you to leave. Why you? Full body screamed as he crawled away from him. His soldiers ran away, defeated, seeing that they were overpowered. They jumped overboard from the Mary and Full body quickly followed after them, screaming in terror as well. Guess he's done, Sanji replied. He was all talk, Aya said. Come on you guys, can you keep it down? Honestly, I can't even sit and read a paper, Nami shouted. Nami, Aya, I finished preparing you a delicious meal, Sanji smiled as he ran over to the two girls. Ooh, I can't wait, Nami squealed joyfully. Sanji turned to Aya. I also made your favorite too, Aya. A strawberry parfait. I can't wait, Aya smiled. That sounds great, what about us? Luffy shouted. The news of Luffy and Aya's bounties began to spread fast like wildfire all throughout the sea, reaching from island to island. On one particular island, two pirates were on lookout when they spotted something coming up on the shore. What's that? One of them questioned. Let me see. The other took the telescope and looked into it. His eyes widened in fear seeing that it was Hawkeye Mahawk. The two pirates backed away as the warlord approached them. Why are you here? Answer me, Hawkeye, one of the pirates demanded. Just calm down. Where is your leader? My business is with him, Hawkeye said, calmly. Camping out on an island. What a carefree man. Through the deep forest jungle of the island was red-haired Shanks and his crew. One of the lookouts scrambled towards them, falling in front of Shanks. The captain placed a mug filled with rum down for him and the crew member quickly gulped a tamard as he pointed behind him. Hawkeye. Shanks looked up to see the pirate warlord with the other lookout pirate, who backed away from him as Hawkeye walked over to him. Shanks smirked. Hey there, Hawkeye. For what do I owe the pleasure? Have you come to fight me? 'Cause you know I'm not feeling so good at the moment. Now that you've lost your left arm, I have no intention of settling the score, Hawkeye said to him and pulled out the two wanted posters of Luffy and Aya, showing it to Shanks and his crew. I recently bumped into a couple of interesting pirates. Seeing them reminded me of a story that you used to tell. A story about a boy and girl. Two strange kids from a small village? Sound familiar? Shanks' eyes widened in shock. No way, Usopp stammered, shocked to see Luffy's and Aya's poster as well. Then he saw the back of Usopp's head behind Luffy in the poster. I don't believe it. Is that Usopp? My boy is with them? Luffy, Aya, they made it. Shanks smiled. He looked up at the pirate warlord in front of him. Alright then Hawkeye, in that case I'm afraid I can't let you just leave not now. Hawkeye, drink up. Go on, tilt it back, it's a celebration. The red-haired pirate urged Hawkeye to drink. Why are you hungover? Hawkeye asked. Oh, and no way. Not anymore. Drink, drink, drink. Drink it, that's it. Shanks brushed him off with his hand. He stood up and shouted at the top of his lungs. Everybody, let's get drunk. Yeah, but wait, boss. I thought you said that you felt like crap because you drank too much last night, one of his crew members replied. Don't be stupid. I can't not drink on a joyous day, like today, Shanks said, happily. But the sun's still high, Hawkeye said. Don't sweat it, time to party, Shanks shouted. Back on the Going Merry, the Straw Hats were gathered around while Nami was looking at a map. We're getting closer. We've almost made to the Grand Line. It looks like the only way into it is here. Through a verse mountain. Nami told them. What a pain. There's got to be some way around that thing, Zoro sighed. There's not. From what the geezer told me, that's the only place to enter it, Sanji pointed out. How come? Usopp asked. 'Cause it's really dangerous, Sanji replied. Yeah, but how come? Usopp insisted. I told you everything that I know, geez, Sanji shouted. See the reason? Nami started to speak when Luffy interrupted her. Hey, I got an idea. Why don't we just sail straight into it? He grinned. Are you really that clueless? Nami said to him in disbelief, frowning. My way sounds a lot fun. Plus, it feels way better to just dive right into it, ya know? Luffy said. Talking to you drives me completely insane, Nami shouted at him. First off, we need to stop at an island. Time to pick up some meat. Need meat? Luffy shouted, ignoring her. Nami pointed on the map to an island not too far from where they were. There's a famous city on this island, known as Logia Town, she explained. Logia Town? Why is it famous? They got delicious meat? Luffy asked. I'm pretty sure I've heard of it before, Zoro said. It's the city of the beginning and the end. Logia Town is where the former king of the pirates, Gold D. Roger, was born and killed at, Aya said. Everyone looked at her, quietly. Luffy's eyes widened in surprise. That's where the king of the pirates died, he asked, thinking to himself. Well, Nami asked him. Luffy smiled. Yeah, let's do it, he told them. This was the man who had the One Piece. Everything the world has to offer. I need to see where he was born and executed at. As everyone went off to do their own thing, Aya quickly grabbed Usopp by his wrist, just before he left. Hey, what are you? Aya quickly slammed her hand on Usopp's mouth and she dragged him away, leading him down into the crew cabin. It was much more quieter away from the others so they wouldn't hear them. Okay, now that we're along, tell me the truth, she replied. Usopp shifted his gaze away from hers, fidgeting with his hands, nervously. You've been acting strange all day. One minute you're much happier when you saw me, then the next you're withdrawn and twiddling your fingers. So, just spit it out. Usopp looked back at her, looking into Aya's eyes. He gulped and took in a deep breath and slowly nodded his head. We did, he replied, making a nervous, sheepish smile on his face. Aya's eyes widened, and she felt her getting hotter. Usopp began to grow more nervous by her quietness. You don't have to say anything. If you don't want to talk about this, it's fine. We can just forget that it ever happened. I mean, you have better options, way better than me, he told her. Aya looked back at him. But what if I told you that I didn't want to? Aya spoke to him. Usopp's eyes widened. What if I told that you mean something to me? Usopp rubbed his head, thinking of what to say. Well, what could he say after that? After she just poured her heart out to him like that. Oh, wow, I wasn't expecting that. He laughed softly and hummed to himself. He felt Aya'd take his hands, holding them in hers. If you want, we can see where this goes. I don't know what will happen, but I do know one thing, I like you. Aya'd told him. Both of their hearts were beating faster in each other's chest, like it was going to burst out. If you're fine with this, then, okay, let's do it. Usopp told her. We can still be friends if it doesn't work out, right? Of course. Nothing is going to become between us. Aya smiled. Now, we just have to figure out how to break the news to the others. Do we really have to? Usopp asked. I think Sanji and Zoro already know that something is up between us. I don't want them to kick my ass over this. Well, everyone's going to find out eventually, Aya told him. True. Usopp sighed. Let's just get this over with. Don't worry, I'll protect you. Aya teased him. She pulled Usopp with her as the two headed up to the deck. In a dark, dimly lit room illuminated by celestial stars and moon patterns, an old woman was sitting in a chair front of a table draped in a dark purple cloth with crystal balls sitting in the center. In front of her was Aya's wanted poster. As she stared down at it, with an unnerving smirk, she made a low chuckle. I have a feeling that we'll be meeting very soon. I wonder how this is going to play out. Aya and Usopp climbed out from the crew's cabin and stepped back onto the deck. She saw Nami, Sanji, Zoro and Luffy together. That's good, it saved her the trouble of having to look for them. Aya took in a deep breath and yelled out at the top of her lungs. Guys, I have an announcement to make. Usopp and I are going out. Usopp's mouth dropped in shock by her outburst. Well, that's one way to tell them. The other crew members were completely in shock and in disbelief as well. What? They all shouted at once. Luffy laughed and was grinning ear to ear. When did this happen? Nami asked her, stunned. She had noticed that the two were getting closer than usual during her time with the group. But she had also noticed that Aya also had a strange attraction to Sanji as well. But she didn't think that it was actually true on what was going on between Aya and Usopp. She was happy for them. Zoro was smirking as he looked at the two. Well, it's been going on off and on for a while. We agreed to get together and see where this goes, Aya answered. Lucky bastard, Sanji muttered as he cried under his breath. That's great, so then what Usopp said was true after all about you two, Luffy shouted. That's so cool. I wouldn't go that far. We are still unsure about how we feel for each other, Usopp told them. Like Aya said, we're going to see where this goes. Well, as long as it doesn't interfere with the trip and moral. I have no problems with it, Zoro replied. We are almost arriving at Logia town, Nami told everyone. Aya walked away from Usopp, heading over to the side of the ship to look out at the sea. Nami headed up to the ship's steering wheel to navigate the ship. Luffy was on top of the crow's nest, hanging from it to get a better look. Sanji and Zoro walked over to Usopp, which made the sniper grew even more tense. He glanced at the two nervously when Sanji spoke as he whispered to him. I'm fine with you being with Aya, just as long as she is happy, Sanji told him. Usopp let out a small sheepish laugh. Really? That's good to hear. He flinched and jumped a little when Sanji placed his hand on the sniper's shoulder. But, if you hurt her or make Aya cry in any way, I'll make you regret it. Usopp stared at the cook with a surprised look. That will never happen. Besides, Aya doesn't seem like the type of girl to cry. I mean, have any of us ever seen her crying in front of us? He said as he asked Sanji and Zoro. But what about her heart? Sanji asked. I know for a fact that she's hurting inside, even if she's secretly keeping it from us. I know that she doesn't express herself through emotions. I get that, you're right, she's not that type. But I can tell that she keeps her feelings bottled up. That can't be good. The swordsman replied. One day she is going to snap if she keeps this up. Which is why, I think that it might be good if you try to get her to open up. She is more open with you when joined the crew. I'll try. Usopp replied. Zoro made a small nod, happy to hear his answer. Suddenly, the three heard a small low humming noise that sounded familiar. Huh? Sanji took out his medallion and Aya pulled out hers as well, looking at them confused. We're here, Nami called out. Ahead in front them was the island, known as Logia town. The Going Merry docked itself at the port and the Straw Hat crew stepped off, walking on the port. Logia town was a huge city full of buildings, shops and attractions. Practically, had everything that you needed. Woohoo! This is going to be so fun, Luffy shouted, happily as he looked around excitedly. Every pirate headed to the Grand Line stops here to resupply. It has everything that you could possibly need, Nami explained. If that's the case, then I'm going to go on a shopping spree. I bet they have all sorts of stuff here, Usopp said, excited. I'll be able to stock up on fresh produce and fresh women, Sanji smiled. Of course, you will. Aya sighed. Something wrong? Sanji asked. Aya shook her head. No, it's nothing, she replied when she spotted a poster with celestial stars and moon phases hanging on the side of a building and walked over to it. Psychic AALA. I'm going to see this psychic witch person and see how good she really is, Aya smirked. AW witch? Usopp stammered. Are you sure that's such a good idea? What if she curses you or something? Oh, are you talking about fortune teller AALA? A passerby man stopped and asked. They say that she just showed up out of the blue a couple of years ago, and made herself at home here. Every fortune and vision that she has ever told always came true. That settles it. I'm going to see her, Aya replied. I won't believe it until I hear it from her myself. Do you think that there's a swordsmith around here? Zoro asked. I thought that you were broke. Are you going to steal a sword? Nami replied in a sing-songy tone of voice and smirked. Welp, I'm going to find out where they kill people, Luffy said and walked off. Huh? All three crew members shouted at once. I gotta see where the king of the pirates was executed, the Straw Hat captain replied. Hey, wait, we have to pick a meeting place, Usopp called out to him, but Luffy had already left. That's not good. The king of the pirates was born and executed in this town. I could be running in his very footsteps right now. Nami was in a clothing store dressing up and trying on some fancy dresses and some revealing ones as well while the shopkeeper complimented her on each one. How'd I look? Nami asked. You look absolutely engaging, the shopkeeper smiled. Shall I deliver this to your lodgings? He asked Nami. No, thanks, a little too expensive for my taste. Nami walked away, leaving the shop. Thank you, come back, soon, the shopkeeper cried. Ah, top quality aperitif, coupled with two mouth-watering delicacies. So much on the menu I can't decide where to start. I wish this was a buffet. Sanji smiled. Then the cook noticed a woman leaning against the wall apart from the crowd of women that he was googling over. She was slim-bodied and average height. Dark green eyes, long wavy black curly hair. She was wearing a white cowboy hat, green pearl necklace, a long flowing dark purple cape draped over her shoulders with red hearts on it, a frilly striped pink and white bikini top, a tight pink capri pants with a white sash, and sandals. She smirked at Sanji, looking back at him. "Oh, I think I just found the main course." Usopp was exploring and looking around in an weapons and antique shop. "Whoa, crazy, I think I died and gone to trigger heaven," Usopp exclaimed in amazement. Come in, come in. In our humble store almost everything you see is a priceless pirate artifact from adventures from the Grand Line. I'm certain that you won't find a store like this in the entire blue," the man approached Usopp. "So, then everything in this store has been to the Grand Line and back, is that what you're telling me?" the sniper asked in disbelief. "You're so observant. We only accept a certain type of clientele in the establishment, and as you might imagine. And I can tell by your demeanor you're my type of client. Observe, I hold in my hand the gun that was once the favorite of none other than the Gold D. Roger." The store attendant showed the sniper a gun that looked more like a toy. Usopp's eyes widened more in shock. "No way. Gold D. Roger's gun? Show me everything," he shouted. "Right this way, sir," the shopkeeper smirked. At a marine headquarters on the island, a soldier walked into a room which was completely engulfed in smoke. A shadowy figure was sitting in a chair with his legs up on his desk. "Captain Smoker. A message from headquarters," the soldier reported. "I just received word the Monkey D. Luffy and his pirate crew headed to Logia Town from the East Blue. The bounties on their heads have just been raised to $30 million Baileys." $30 million Baileys, I can't wait to congratulate them," said the Marine captain, known as Smoker. "Sir, this is the pirate that defeated Don Krieg and Day," the soldier shouted. "Shut your mouth," Smoker growled. "Sorry sir," the soldier saluted. "Silence, your stress is useless. You alone dictate the pace of your battle, am I wrong?" Smoker asked him. "And no, sir," the soldier stammered. Smoker opened the window letting out all of the smoke in the room. He turned back to the man. He was tall and muscular, white-haired and brown eyes, smoking 2 cigars in his mouth. He was also wearing a long thick white and blue marine jacket with green fur lining on the neck, wrists and hem. On the back of it was a kanji for justice, brown leather gloves, blue jeans and military brown leather boots. "Then why so tense?" he asked him. Well, it's been a long time for some pirate crew with this considerable strength, sir," the soldier said. "You really have nothing to worry about. Under my command there isn't a single pirate who stepped foot on this island haven't been captured," Smoker questioned him. "No, sir." "Then just calm the hell down. You're screwing up my pacing, Marine," the Marine captain shouted. Another Marine soldier ran into the room, standing next to the other soldier. "Reporting, sir. I have word that a pirate crew have just recently arrived. You're requested there at once," he quickly told Smoker. The other soldier looked over at him, nervously. "It must be Luffy's group. How'd they do that? I just got this." Smoker stormed out of the room and one of the soldiers followed behind him as they headed outside going to the docks. $30 million, huh? This might actually be interesting, Smoker murmured as he walked. "Sir?" the soldier questioned him. Smoker shook his head. "Just talking to myself, forget it," he spoke as they continued walking. Don't you want to see what he looks like, Captain?" the soldier asked him. Smoker didn't answer him. "Captain, you have to tell us what your orders are," the soldier asked. "No need to," the Marine captain replied. "Sir, do you even know who these pirates defeated?" the soldier exclaimed. Smoker let out a low growl and slowly turned to him. "You're annoying me. I am in command here." "Understood, Captain," the soldier saluted, nervously. "Where's Tashigi?" the Marine captain asked. "Sir, she mentioned about having some things to do this morning, then she tried to make it back in time for training," the soldier told him. Smoker sighed, letting out smoke out of his mouth. "Irresponsible girl. Where the hell did she go?" he questioned as he was thinking to himself. A little girl ran as she was carrying an ice cream cone in her hands. "Yay! I got ice cream. You better slow down or you're going to drop it," the girl's father called out to her. But it was too late. She bumped into Smoker's leg and spilled her ice cream, splattering on the captain's pants. "Captain Smoker!" the girl's father exclaimed. My ice cream. The little girl whined, looking like she was about to cry. I am so sorry, sir, please don't hurt her. My daughter shouldn't have run. Please don't hurt her, the father pleaded to the Marine captain. Smoker looked down to the child. I'm sorry, my silly pants have eaten all of your ice cream. Here, go buy yourself 5 scoops. He bent down and he placed a hand on the girl's head, gently. Then he handed her some money. The girl looked at him confused and took it from him. Smoker got up and walked away from them, with his soldier following behind him. Let's go. Sir, thank you, sir. The little girl thanked him as she smiled and waved. Thank you. The father thanked him as well. The 2 Marines arrived at the port to find a bearded pirate as well as some of his crewmates terrorizing and stealing from a couple of people. So, you're Monkey D. Luffy? You're not worth $30 million. I guess you're not worth more than my grandma's false teeth, Smoker said to the pirate. Don't you dare speak to me that way, the pirate growled. Captain Smoker? Nami asked the woman shopkeeper, while she was looking at some more clothes and trying them on. He is definitely one of the toughest Marines we've ever seen in this time. You see, Logia Town used to be a hangout for pirates headed to the Grand Line, but not anymore. As soon as Smoker took over, any pirate that has come near this island has been caught, incarcerated and executed. Smoker is bad. He's a complete and utter monster. There are those who say that he has devil fruit powers. The shopkeeper told her. Nami frowned, concerned. Devil fruit powers? She questioned. This wasn't good. There was another devil fruit user around here other than Luffy and a Marine as well. The Marine captain released smoke from his hands and mouth. The smog tangled and wrapped around the rogue pirates, who tried to attack him and ended up being captured. They never stood a chance. That's amazing, Captain. You captured Luffy all by yourself. The soldier shouted. Smoker growled at him. You're a complete idiot. This isn't Luffy, anyone could tell that. If this garbage was worth $30 million, I'd become a pirate. So then, where's Luffy? The soldier asked. And what's your hurry? Smoker replied. He'll be here soon enough. The 2 noticed the Straw Hat Captain from within the distance, looking around, completely lost. He smiled when saw the 2 and ran over to them. Where's the execution platform? This is like the docks. Hey, can you help me? Luffy asked them. Is he a member of this garbage? The soldier whispered to the Marine captain. No, I don't think so, Smoker said as the Straw Hat Captain approached and was now standing in front of the 2. Hi, I need some help. Do you happen to know where they execute people around here? Luffy asked. The platform. Smoker replied. Yeah, I know, but I just can't seem to find it, Luffy said. Smoker looked at him with narrowed eyes, suspiciously. I haven't seen you before. Luffy smiled. This is my first time here on the island. The town is a whole lot bigger than Fuchsia Village. Looks really spread out too, he said. So why go to the platform? Smoker asked him. Luffy grinned underneath his hat. A personal quest, to see where the king of the pirates died, he replied. The Marine captain's eyes widened a little in shock at his words. Luffy frowned. I guess you don't know. Oh well, he said and started to walk away when Smoker stopped him. Hold it. Just follow the smoke, kid. The Marine captain let out some smoke from cigar, controlling it as it formed a pathway for Luffy. Luffy blinked. Great, that way. I'll see you later, he shouted, happily, and ran off, following the trail. Smoker frowned as he watched the boy leave. He has a very familiar face. Where have I seen them before? Damn it. These swords are all so freaking expensive. Zoro growled as he looked at the tags of the swords through the display window of the shop. Sure, I'll lend you some money. That'll be just 300% interest. Nami smirked as she winked and stuck her tongue out at him. The swordsman sighed in frustration, remembering. I cannot afford to borrow any money from that girl. But I can't just go to the Grand Line, stuck with just one sword. There's gotta be a way, Zoro thought to himself. Then the swordsman noticed that there was a large crowd. He walked over to see what was going on. There was a woman, holding a large package in her hands, and there were 2 tall men, who were pirates, standing over her. She had short shoulder-length black hair, wearing red rectangular framed glasses, floral buttoned shirt, blue capris, and dark pink boots. Our boss is behind bars because of you and your idiot of a captain, one of the men shouted at the woman. "Haven't you learned your lesson?" she replied. The two men laughed at her. "Definitely not," the other one smirked. "We're supposed to bring your corpse to our boss so that he can see that we've finished you off." "If you insist, I will fight you," the woman said. "That is so cute. You do know that you're a girl, right?" One of the men chuckled. The two lunged at her, and with the blink of an eye the woman quickly pulled what was hid aloft. She swung the sword, knocking the renegades' weapons out of their hands and struck them down. The two men fell on the ground, unconscious. Zoro stared in surprise and the crowd cheered at her. "Whoa, she did it!" one of the people shouted. When the woman took a step she stumbled onto the ground and fell on her face, knocking her glasses off. "She's good with a sword but not that good at walking," another person laughed. Zoro bent down, picking up the woman's glasses. The woman frantically searched around on the ground for them. "My glasses? Oh no. No, where are they?" she muttered. "Hey, here you go." As Zoro held the glasses to her, the swordsman's eyes widened in shock, seeing the girl's face as her dark brown eyes stared back into his. "Kuina?" Zoro's voice got caught in his throat, and without thinking he accidentally crushed the girl's glasses as well in his fist. "Thanks, that's so kind." The woman smiled up at him. "Can I have my glasses now?" She looked down to see her shattered, broken glasses in Zoro's hand. "My glasses," she shrieked. "Oh crap, I didn't mean to," Zoro yelped as he stepped away from her. The woman narrowed her eyes, glaring up at him. "Those were really expensive. How could you be so mean?" she shouted, angrily. Zoro began to twitch nervously. It was an accident, I swear," he sputtered. "You're going to pay for those. This really sucks. Damn, I just want to find the execution platform and somehow, I keep getting turned around. I'll find it eventually." Luffy sighed as he looked around for it. He was even more lost as he found himself in an alley. "Let's see. This way, Gold Roger." "Huh? A bar named after Gold Roger?" Luffy read the sign out loud. He headed down the stairs and opened the door, walking into the bar. As Luffy stepped inside, he saw an old man, sitting at a table with a huge skull on it in front of him, drinking a bottle of wine. "Excuse me, do you work here?" The sign hanging outside said this place is called the Gold Roger. "How did it get that name?" Luffy asked the man. "Scram." The old man answered him. Luffy stared at him confused. "Huh? You should leave. This isn't the place for unaccompanied children, besides we're closed for good, starting today," the man told him. "You're going under?" Luffy asked and walked over to a stool, sitting down. He looked around the bar. "I'm not going under. I've decided to shut it down myself. I'm retiring," the old man told him. "Sorry, I just wanted to know about the name," Luffy said. "You see, I'm looking for the execution platform but I'm lost. Could you tell me the way?" Luffy noticed the skull in front of the man. His eyes widened in amazement. "What the heck is that? Whoa, it's a huge skull. That is so cool." Killer Giant. One of the most feared villains to ever haunt the waters of the Grand Line. He sent hundreds of pirates to their deaths over the course of his life. But, it only took Gold Roger a single blow to the behemoth down for good. The old man explained as he told the story. Luffy's eyes widened. Gold Roger killed him with lightning speed. You see, Killer Giant was known for using his massive blade, but it didn't matter. The whole fight was over before he could even raise it. And here's the wound that did it. Killer Giant was a terrible waste of human flesh away. But, with his dying breath, Gold Roger, I tip my hat off to you. You will forever be the king of the pirates. The man smiled at Luffy as he finished, leaning back in the chair. Luffy's whole body shook in excitement. Awesome, tell me more, he exclaimed. Eric Dowell, the man known as King Silvers, the world's greatest gunman. The Giant Brothers, they were famous for their strength. For they were indestructible demons feared by everybody. But, not Gold Roger. Yeah, nobody ever wants to hear my stories these days, the old man replied. But I do, keep talking, Luffy shouted, jumping in his seat for the man to continue the story. Don't rush me. Now, Gold Roger, in those days, I suppose even now, he's the only man that I've known not afraid of entering the Grand Line. Back then the Grand Line was a mysterious place. Boats that entered there would never seen nor heard from again. It was a sea of evil that people feared, which few ever considered approaching. That is until Gold Roger came into my bar one day saying that he was going to visit it. After that he drank the whole place dry. He set out the next morning, like he was going sightseeing. Then I wasn't surprised when I heard that he had conquered the Grand Line. I was happy to hear that he was the one who finally survived those evil seas. On this day, 22 years ago, Gold Roger died on that platform, and that's how it started. That's when it all began, the so-called Great Pirate Era, where everyone with a boat takes to be a pirate. But, look around this once great town. I bet you won't be able to find yourself a real pirate. Nothing here but cowards and men brave enough to make the journey to the Grand Line have all disappeared from these waters. There are no more true pirates left. That's why I'm closing down. I'm going to the Grand Line. My little sister is too. Luffy grinned. The old man's eyes went wide as he stared at Luffy. It was like he was staring into the ghost of the former king of the pirates himself. Huh? Luffy's smile went wider. Oh yeah, Gold Roger is so cool. He's exactly how a pirate's supposed to be. That's why we're here to go to the Grand Line. To get our hands on the One Piece and then become king and queen of the pirates. Those are some pretty big words. Even more so with a smile. The bartender smirked. I only said what I meant. Luffy replied. Young man, if there are still people like you out there, should I hold off on closing this place? The man asked him. I don't know. I could just be me. Luffy replied. The old man got up from his seat and walked over to Luffy around the bar. That's right, it could just be you. In that case, let's have a drink. I haven't been in this good of mood in a long time, he said. Sorry, but I don't drink alcohol. In fact, I hate it. But, my sister on the other hand. You're just lucky she's not here. She goes crazy with that stuff, Luffy told him. Alright, then how about this? The old man placed a cup of milk in front of Luffy for him and one for himself. Let's raise our glasses together. To the eternal king of the pirates. Luffy smiled and took the glass from the counter, and the two clinked the glasses together, taking a drink. Here's to the king of the pirates, Luffy toasted. So, it's you. The old man frowned at Smoker as he walked in. Now, that's no way to treat a customer, especially your only one. The Marine captain smirked as he walked over. Why don't you cut the crap? You just want to see me close this place down, the old man shouted, bitterly. You don't have the right to be angry with me. I didn't turn all of the pirates around here into cowards. That was a decision that they all made on their own. Once they got to know me, that's all. Smoker replied. Then he noticed the empty glasses sitting on the countertop. Why isn't that nice? So, you had a guest? Smoker asked the man. I think I'd like a taste of rum, old man. I don't have any for you. The bartender retorted. Smoker reached over the counter and grabbed a bottle of sake. Don't be such a bastard. Today is a very special day, don't ya think? Good stuff. I can see it as if it was yesterday. The day that he was executed. He opened it, taking a drink. Luffy was back outside as he walked in the streets, heading in the direction to the platform where the barkeeper told him to go. Finally, found Main Street. I wonder if Gold Roger ever walked around this street like me. It was hot like today, humid. They had him shackled as they led him down Main Street towards the square where they built the execution platform. He walked in the town like it was a victory parade. Wealth, fame, power. Gold Roger obtained this and everything else life had to offer. He was facing his final moment. He acted like it was his coronation. Tested, feats, dreams. As long as there are people who seek freedom in this life, these things shall not vanish from the earth. They asked him for his final words. Funny enough, he asked the guards to take off his shackles. They immediately refused. Hey, Pirate King. Tell us where you hidden the treasure. Is it behind the Grand Line or someplace else? You found it, didn't you? A man shouted from the crowd at the king of the pirates. One of the guards frowned. You there, shut up, he shouted at him. Gold D. Roger smirked and let out a chuckle. The legendary treasure, the One Piece, the man shouted once more. You want my treasure? Gold D. Roger said. The two Marines quickly raised their swords, aiming at the bound pirate. Shut your mouth, the Marine shouted, trying to silence him. Gold D. Roger ignored him and continued his speech. You can have it. I left everything that I've gathered in one place. You just have to find it. The two soldiers plunged their weapons into Gold D. Roger just as he finished, killing the king in a single blow. That's how it all began. Smoker finished the story. Suddenly, a soldier ran into the room, as he held a stack of wanted posters in his arms. "Hey, here's a new wanted poster. Put it where people can see it." "Captain Smoker, my apologies, sir," the soldier said as he held out Luffy's wanted posters. The old man's eyes widened while Smoker narrowed his eyes at the poster. "That's the Straw Hat. That kid was Monkey D. Luffy, which means an old friend of mine is here as well." The Marine captain smirked. "There it is." Luffy grinned as he stood in the main square in the crowd, looking up at the platform. This is where they executed the king of the pirates. The place where the greatest pirate who had ever lived died. And the place where the Great Pirate Age began. The Marine captain, Smoker, was on Luffy's trail to intercept him. He sees the boy starting to climb the platform. The Marine told Luffy that in order to get the Grand Line, the Straw Hat was going to have to defeat him, or Smoker was going to arrest him. Taking the challenge, Luffy tried to throw a punch at the Smoker, but his feet got tangled up in the scaffolding of the platform. Luffy was hanging upside down as half of his body was stretched. "What's this? He's made out of rubber?" Smoker questioned. "No fair. My legs are tangled up." Luffy whined. "Hey, get down from there," Smoker shouted at Luffy. "I'm trying. I'm not up here 'cause I want to be. I'm stuck," Luffy shouted back as he tried to untangle his legs. He finally managed to pull himself out free and threw back his fist. "Gun gum pistol." Smoker jumped out of the way, dodging Luffy's attack. He appeared behind Luffy and punched the Straw Hat in the face, knocking Luffy back. Then he kicked Luffy, sending him flying into the air. Luffy bounced off from the platform, launching himself at Smoker again. "Here I come." Smoker punched Luffy in his face again, knocking Luffy back to the platform. 22 years ago, I witnessed Gold D. Roger's death. His final moments were proud, worthy of the title King of the Pirates. "But, you a King of the Pirates? Don't make me laugh," Smoker retorted. "You can't even enter the Grand Line. Don't try to get up, there's no point." "Maybe, but I'll never know unless I try," Luffy grinned as he stood up back on his feet again. "Here goes. Gum gum." He threw his leg back, trying to kick Smoker. The mane stepped to the side and Luffy's leg wrapped around the fountain, instead. Luffy's eyes widened. Oh no, he was launched forward, spinning around the air, like a cyclone, and was sent flying away from the square. Smoker stared as he watched in confusion. That was bizarre. Sanji was walking in the streets to find the woman that he saw in town, but he lost her. He stumbled across Usopp, who was at the shop when he saw Luffy flying across further away in the distance. Well, that was new, sort of, the cook mumbled to himself. Zoro was following Tashigi as she was taking him to the marine base to earn some money to help pay for her glasses. As he was cleaning and mopping the floors, the swordsman watched the woman as she trained in the courtyard. She looked so much like his late dead friend. She's definitely good with a sword, just like her. Suddenly, Zoro was discovered by two marine soldiers who recognized him and tried to capture the swordsman. Zoro managed to defeat them and quickly ran out of the base. Tashigi ran down the hall with several soldiers as they heard the commotion. She found the soldiers who attacked Zoro, lying on the floor. She found the money as well as an IOU note left behind that he earned for Tashigi's glasses on the guards' knocked out bodies. As Zoro walked in the street, he stopped when he noticed a weapon shop and stepped inside. He sees the store owner who was lounging around at the counter when he noticed Zoro come inside. "I'd like to pick up some swords," Zoro said. The man sputtered as he woke up from his nap. His eyes widened, seeing Zoro standing in front of him. Of course, have a look at anything you like. We have an extremely large variety to choose from." He smiled. Zoro placed down some money that he earned on the counter. "I've got 100,000 Baileys, for 2 swords. Can you do that?" "2 for 100,000? The man frowned, disappointed. "Great, this guy is broke." He sighed. "For 50,000 apiece. I can only give you 2 dull blades." "I can make do with whatever, I just don't have the money right now," Zoro told him. The man scoffed. "You can't make do with whatever unless they're an amateur." He looks down and sees the swordsman's white sword at his hip, and the merchant's eyes widen in shock. "Hold on a second, can I see your sword for a minute?" The merchant sputtered, still in shock. Zoro raised an eye as he looked down at his sword. "You okay there, buddy?" "Let me see it." The merchant asked him. Zoro handed the sword to the merchant and he pulled the sword out from its sheath, looking at the blade. "How much do you want for it?" "I'll pay you 200,000 Baileys," he told Zoro. Zoro tried to take it back from him. "It's not for sale," he told the merchant. "Fine, then, you drive a hard bargain. 250,000 Baileys. No. Wait. 300,000. Final offer, 500,000, he insisted. "Look, old man, like I told you. It's not for sale," Zoro said. As the two argued, Tashigi ran into the shop to pick up her sword from the merchant and saw Zoro. "You're okay. I was worried about you. You see, some Marines were attacked earlier, and you were gone though, so naturally assumed that you were kidnapped." Zoro tensed up, looking at her nervously, hoping that she didn't realize who he actually was. She's definitely not very bright, the swordsman thought to himself. "You can have your money back. I don't really need it and I can't accept it from a heartless ingrate," she replied as she handed Zoro the money back. "Besides, I already got new glasses," she showed him as she put her new pair on. "So, you're here looking for a sword too?" she asked him. Then she noticed the white sword in the merchant's hand. "Hey, that's the Wado Ichimonji. That's a very highly prized sword." The merchant gave the woman a look to tell her to shut up. "Are you trying to rip this guy off? Shame on you. How about this? You can pick out any sword from those barrels over there. They're worth 50,000 apiece. Pick any sword that you like," the merchant replied to Zoro. The swordsman walked over, looking around and them. Tashigi walked over to him. "You must have a lot of swords if you need to carry 3 of them, just like that famous pirate hunter," she replied. Zoro smirked. "Pirate hunter? Yeah, sure. He's quite the legend. His name is Roronoa Zoro." Tashigi grinned. "Oh, yeah, him. Yeah, he's known throughout the East Blue for his amazing sword skills, but he's not a good person. A swordsman who's just a bounty hunter is no honorable swordsman at all. Everything's backwards. It's really too bad for real swordsmen. Pirates and bounty hunters are swordsmasters, it just doesn't make any sense. And most of the world's legendary swords too. It's a real tragedy," she told him. Zoro chuckled. "I don't know about that. It's kind of thing looked on its own on a case-by-case basis, I guess. You'll never know what people are good for," he told her. "This is my shigur. I'm going to work as hard as can to perfect my skills and then one day I'll take back all of the legendary swords because the filthy hands that holds them now have no right to wield them," she stated. "And this one, my sword? The Wado Ichimonji?" Zoro smirked. "I am not trying to get back the legendary swords for my sake," she stammered. "I just don't want criminals to have them." Zoro pulled out a sword with a black hilt from out of the barrel. It was the Sandai Kaitsu. The cursed blade. Every owner who has ever possessed it had met with an unlucky fate or untimely death. Zoro smirked. "Let's test it out." Zoro tossed the sword in the air and extended out his arm as the sword was falling as it spinned. It would chop the swordsman's arm off. Tashigi's and the merchant's eyes widened in horror as they watched the blade fall. It misses and buried itself on the floor, next to Zoro's feet. Impressed by the swordsman's bravery, the merchant went in the back and came out with another sword. He held it out to Zoro. "This is the Yubashiri. It is yours now. I'm sorry I tried to cheat you before." Zoro took it from him. Finally, he had all 3 swords that he needed for the journey. Aya walked past a couple of shops and buildings until she came upon an alley. She walked down the stone stairs and stopped in front of the psychic's shop, seeing the sign above it just like the advertisement posters. As Aya reached for the handle of the door, it opened itself as he stood in front of her. He had short, messy black hair and bangs that covered his dark blue eyes. He was dressed in a dark blue poncho, dark brown pants and sandals. The man stared at Aya in shock before his lips turned into a big smile. "It's you? Come in, Mom's been expecting you." He gestured Aya to come in and she did. As Aya stepped inside of the store, Aya let out a startled yelp when the door suddenly closed behind her. She quickly turned around to find another man, standing behind her with his arms crossed. His piercing green eyes stared back at her silently. He with short, spiky black hair, wearing dark brown coat with a hood over a dark yellowish-brown tunic, dark brown pants with a black belt and knee-high black boots. "I can't believe that you came. Mother said that you would one day. My name is Ichi." the man was kicked in the side, by the other one, falling on the floor. Ichi groaned as he got up, holding his side, painfully. "My spleen," he whined. Aya turned the other man as he stared at her. He walked stepping over the other man still lying on the floor and gestured Aya to follow him. "Pay no attention to him. Now, if you'll follow us, we'll take you to Aala," he told her. Aya followed behind him, but stopped in front of Ichi, holding her hand out to help him up. Ichi stared up at her with wide eyes before he took Aya's hand and got up. "You're the only one who's ever nice to me besides Mom, of course. My brother's a big meanie." Ichi quickly hugged her, which made Aya more uncomfortable. She was starting to regret coming here. "Only because you're annoying," Elle replied. "Let her go, can't you tell that she doesn't like to be touched?" Ichi immediately released Aya. "I'm sorry," he apologized almost immediately. "I didn't mean to make you feel uncomfortable. It's like everything that I do. I just screw it up." He sighed sadly. Aya stared at him silently. She couldn't help but feel sorry for him. "Come on. Let's not keep Mother waiting," Elle said to the two. "You two are brothers? You look nothing alike." Aya replied to the two men as they lead her towards a beaded curtain to the psychic's room. "We're fraternal twins. We have the same mom, but different dads," Elle told her. "So, the two of you help your mom out with her shop?" Aya asked him. "Adoptive mother," he corrected her. "We come from a far-off place that was about to go to war. My brother and I were only babies when it was going on. So, our mother found us and took all to somewhere safer away from all of that." "Oh, I'm sorry to hear that," Aya replied, now feeling bad that she even brought it up. "We barely remember any of it, considering how little we were. But I've got my wonderful brother and mom. That's all that matters," Ichi said to her. The two stopped and Aya peeked out from behind the two men as they stood aside. She saw an old woman, sitting at the table with a crystal ball. She looked so fragile that if Aya touched her, she might turn into ash and dust. She had long white hair with some braided strands running along the sides of her head into a ponytail. She was wearing a dark orange dress with a purple sash. "I've been expecting you. You have come very far, haven't you?" Aala smiled at Aya. Her pale green eyes had a twinkling mischief to them. She motioned for her to come closer. Aya walked over and took a seat in the chair, sitting across from the fortune teller. As she got a closer look at the woman, Aya noticed that the woman was missing a left ring finger. "You can say that. I bet that you say that to all of your clients." Aya smirked. The older woman made a low chuckle which sent Aya a little bit on edge. "You think that I'm a fraud?" she asked Aya. "I already know what the future holds for me and I've accepted it. I just want to see how much you know," Aya told her. Aya saw the woman smirk before the psychic's eyes began to glow brightly green. "You have an illness that is not known around these parts and is incurable." Aya's eyes widened at the psychic's words a little in shock and she continued. "You also have an embarrassing star-shaped birthmark on your lower back that resembles a scar, which you keep hidden that you are self-conscious about." Aya twitched a little as she pulled her hair behind her ear. "You have a brother, a twin. The both of you come from a tiny mountain village. You are jealous of him because he had more freedom than you ever had." "I'm not jealous of my brother," Aya interrupted her. "So, you say. But that's the reason for your whole journey, isn't it? Freedom. A pirate's dream. To escape the life that never accepted you. You want to be your own person. You want something that you can have on your own, not always followed back or compared to him. You are also in turmoil of who you love. I see 3 people." Aya stared at her confused. There's going to be 3 people that she is going to love? Well, there's Usopp. Aya smiled thinking about the long-nosed sniper who made her laugh and feel happier than she has ever felt. Then Sanji appeared in her mind, which made Aya feel more conflicted. He always saw her as a different person than Luffy. But, who is the third? "Your journey is going to be filled with obstacles and hardships and betrayal," the psychic continued. "Betrayal?" Aya asked. "And lastly, as a warning, stay away from plant people." Aala finished. Aya frowned, looking at her confused. Plant people? She had never heard of such a thing. "Wait, that's it? There has to be more. Who is the traitor? What do you mean by plant people? Do we find the One Piece? Will I live long enough to see it?" "Child, that is all that I can see. Giving out visions gives me terrible migraines and your time is now up. But I thank you for listening to the end. Most people never stick around this long. I'll show you out. Mother is very tired and needs her rest. El said to her as he led Aya out of the shop. Aya walked as she thought about what the fortune teller had told her, still disturbed and confused by it all. She also couldn't help but think about the old woman and the two men and how strange that they were. They seemed so out of place in a town like this. Suddenly, she heard someone calling out to her and looked up to see Nami, carrying several bags in her arms. "Hey, Nami," she called out to her, walking over to the navigator. "So, how did it go with the fortune teller? What did she tell you?" Nami asked her. Aya bit her lip, thinking, then looked at Nami with a serious look in her eyes. "She's definitely not a hack. She told me the usual stuff, about me, who I'm going to love, my future. But most of it kind of had some troubling news as well." "What is it?" Nami frowned, wanting to know. "She told me that there's going to be a traitor among us. And she gave me a warning, for all of us, about staying away from plant people, whoever they are." "That does sound bad. But plant people? I've never heard of such a thing," Nami murmured to herself. "That's what I've said," Aya replied. Then Nami tossed Aya a bag into her chest. She managed to catch it in time, almost dropping it. "What's this?" she asked. "I got you some new clothes for the trip. Now, you won't be waltzing around with the same outfit every day. Consider it a thank you," Nami told her. "Thanks, Nami." Aya thanked her. "How about we go shopping some more?" Nami asked her. "Okay." Aya nodded. Back at the marine base, Smoker was filling out some paperwork at his desk. His soldier was standing next to him. "Captain Smoker. If this Luffy guy is somewhere on the island, then we need to blockade the port immediately," the soldier said. "And if Aya is with him, then we should be searching for her as well." "There's no need to worry," Smoker replied. "And why is that?" the soldier questioned. "You can't go in there, the captain's in a meeting," one of the soldiers shouted from outside of the room. The door slammed open, and a tall man stepped inside, heading over to the marine captain and stopped by his desk. He had large sideburns, mustache, and bearded goatee, dressed in a gunner's outfit, cowboy hat, wearing a cloak, and fingerless gloves. "How are you doing, Smoker?" he asked the marine. "Well, if it isn't Daddy," Smoker said. "Here's 2 Pistol Pete and Killer Police Riley brothers." The bounty hunter dropped the 3 men on the floor, who were unconscious. "And all 3 have bounties?" Smoker questioned. "No, all 4. I dropped a brother off at the morgue. If you wouldn't mind signing for them, I'd be sure appreciated," Daddy said as he handed over the papers so that Smoker can sign them off. "$1 million for 4 guys? Times are tough. The world may be cheap, but it's steady. I'm fine bringing in the fish that moves through these waters. I'm not really interested in signatures that has one big catch," the bounty hunter answered. "The Marine's best sniper reduced to being a common street cleaner, it's sad," Smoker retorted. "I don't want to risk my life anymore," Daddy replied. "Because if you died, that daughter of yours will end up on the streets, right?" Smoker asked. The bounty hunter began to leave as he headed towards the door. "Tell Carol I said hi," Smoker called out. "Sure, I'll tell her." Uncle Smokey said hello. The bounty hunter replied as he left Smoker's office. "That was Daddy Masters from the Bounty Hunters," the marine soldier commented. "Yeah, we enlisted at the same time. He was one of the elites, a natural with a gun. I was sure that he was bound for great things," Smoker told him. "Then why is he just a bounty hunter? A cursed sword. Interesting," Zoro thought to himself as he held the sword high in the air, admiring it. Luffy suddenly appeared in front of the swordsman's face, startling him. "Hey," Luffy grinned at him. "That's a really cool sword." "Don't sneak up on me," Zoro shouted. "So, why are you just sitting here, Zoro?" Luffy asked him. "I'm bored, you?" Zoro replied. "Me? Yeah, I'm completely lost," the Straw Hat Captain answered. "That's a good thing," Zoro said. "It's okay. Hey, do you know where the execution platform is?" Luffy asked Zoro. However, the swordsman didn't answer him. His eyes were focused ahead of him and Luffy as he spotted a small crowd. "What's up?" Luffy asked him and looked over to where Zoro was looking at. It was the bounty hunter, Daddy, and he was also surrounded by a couple of men. "Bastard! You sold out our friends to the highest bidder. It's time for you to pay," one of the men shouted at the bounty hunter. "Now die," One of the men shouted. All three lunged at the bounty hunter, attacking him. Several gunshots were heard and all the men fell to the ground in one fell swoop as the bounty hunter shot them all. One of the survivors crawled by away from the man, with a look of terror on his face. "Why don't you run on home, kid, and see if your mom got supper ready?" the bounty hunter told him and walked away. Luffy stared in amazement. "Whoa, Zoro, that guy's totally awesome," he shouted in awe. "I think that's, yep, Daddy the father, bounty hunter," Zoro murmured, concerned. "I got everything that I need." Usopp grinned as he walked down the street carrying a huge bag on his back that was full of souvenirs and weapons from the shop that he had bought from. "I'm completely prepared for whatever the sea throws at me. There isn't anything Usopp, brave warrior, can't face now. Wait a minute, I think I'm forgetting something important. That's it. A first-class sniper like myself should really have a top pair of goggles to look through. I'm going to get the best pair that I can find. I don't care what they cost if it's more than I can afford. Super goggles, here I come. These are the ones, they're perfect." He grinned as he tested them out. "Those are brand new. They're the top-of-the-line model from North Blue Company. Oh, and the internship that comes here only stops at the port once a year. Hey, don't you have any money? What's wrong with you? I can't just give these away," the shopkeeper said. "No, that's right, my backpack." As Usopp ran to get the money from his backpack and little girl skipped past him and picked up the goggles. She had blonde hair tied up in bows, wearing a green and white frilly dress. "I'll take those." Usopp tripped over his feet, falling on the ground. "Oh, excellent choice, from a cute little girl. I happen to know that these are the only goggles of their kind on the whole island," the woman said. "Those are my goggles. Drop him," Usopp shouted. The little girl quickly turned around, startling Usopp as he fell back. "You snooze you lose, Grandpa," she grinned. "Grandpa?" Usopp sputtered. He saw the girl leave the store and quickly chased after her, stopping her. "Little girl, stop right there. There's no way that you can possibly think that I'm an old man. I'm old enough to be your brother." "Well, you smell like an old man," the girl replied. "I am not old. Just give me back those goggles. I found them first, they're mine," Usopp shouted. "Yeah, you better watch your mouth, 'cause I'm friends with the Marines and I'll get them to beat you up," she shouted at him. The Marines?" Usopp's eyes widened, nervously. The little girl smirked. "That's right, and their captain is a close personal friend to my family. He's kind of like my uncle." "Why, you little haw, I'm a good captain, too." Arlong Park was destroyed by these two hands. "I was surrounded by hundreds of fishmen and the last that they ever saw was Captain Usopp the Incredible. Don't such amazing and terrible things. They were glad to quickly meet their end. And I have a bounty of $30 million Baileys on my head, so the Marines don't scare me," the sniper exclaimed. "Oh, $30 million Baileys, huh?" the girl questioned, not believing him. "That's right," Usopp said. "Papa," the girl called out as she waved. "Don't call me Papa. I'm not your daddy." He looked behind him, confused, to see the little girl run over to a man dressed in a cloak and a cowboy hat. "I got a birthday, Papa," she smiled as she handed the goggles out to show him. "Oh, my girl. Carol, you're absolutely the most angelic little girl a father could ask for," he cried as he hugged her. "I love you so much, Papa." Usopp stared in disbelief. "What's with that girl?" he thought to himself. The girl narrowed her eyes at him before turning back to her father. "Papa, that silly old man over there was being mean and tried to steal your present," she told him. Usopp made a nervous squeak as he saw the man, glaring at him as well. "Are you the gentleman that's been bothering my adorable little daughter?" he asked the sniper. "And no, I just, Usopp stammered at a loss of words. The girl smirked as she handed the wanted poster of Luffy to her father. "Here's something else. Oh, a bounty worth $30 million, huh?" The man took out the wanted posters that he received, looking Luffy's poster, seeing Usopp behind him. "Let's take a look." "Are those the new bad guys?" his daughter asked. Taking a chance, while they were distracted, Usopp tried to sneak away. "Yeah, I just picked them up today. $30 million for Monkey D. Luffy, for a first bounty, that's impressive." The man looked up, seeing the sniper trying to get away. "Where are you going?" Usopp made a small squeak as he stopped dead in his tracks. He turned around and walked back to them. "Okay, that's not me. I'm not the guy in the poster. I was just pretending to be a bad guy, bye-bye now. He told them and waved as he started to walk away again. That's you, isn't it? The bounty hunter pointed at Usopp's head in Luffy's picture. The sniper stopped in his tracks. Okay, you caught me again. But just try to lay a hand on me and you'll see what happens. Like Captain Luffy won't sit idly by and watch one of his crewmates in danger. He's a cold-blooded, soulless monster from the very pits of hell itself. You can't even imagine the pain that he can inflict. You got your daughter to worry about, why risk your life over it? Usopp told him. You're right, it's not worth it. Anyone with $30 million Baileys on his head is no ordinary man, that's for sure, the man replied. Papa, you can beat him. You're the strongest man ever and you're not afraid of anyone, his daughter insisted. Darling, I don't have to prove anything. I just get by with enough to keep us happy. So long as you think that I'm the greatest, that's all that matters to me. Understand? He told her. Usopp stared at him in disbelief as well as confused. I scared him off just like that. I guess I don't know how truly terrifying I am. He made a smug smirk. I'm glad that you came to your senses, fool. Now give me my goggles and just maybe I'll let you escape with your life. Huh? The girl glared at him. Don't worry, I'm going to pay for them. I'm a killer, not a thief. Now give him here, Usopp demanded. He's letting you go, old man. If I were you, I'd be running for my life, Papa. Her father stopped her as he looked at Usopp. Okay, fine. If that's how you want it, then let's settle this dispute like gentlemen. He tossed over a gun to Usopp. He caught it, looking at it confused. Gentlemen, he asked. If it's a shooting challenge, he can definitely handle something like this. Those goggles are as good as his. A duel? I think I can manage that, Usopp smirked. If you win, then the goggles are yours. The man pulled back his cloak, revealing multiple guns strapped on him. Usopp's eyes widened in shock as he tried to count them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. T-30 pistols? That's the same number of guns as Daddy the father. He exclaimed fearfully, realizing who the man truly was now. Yeah, that's me. As Nami, who was carrying more bags filled with clothes and surveying tools that she bought, and Aya were walking in the streets. They watched in confusion as they saw several people run past them as they headed up to a hill, which led to a graveyard. There's going to be a duel, a village shouted. Aya's eyes widened. It's Daddy the father, another one shouted. I wonder what's going on. Nami murmured, confusion. Daddy the father. Let's go see. Aya told her. I have a bad feeling about this. The two girls followed the villagers and they saw a large crowd in front of them as they were cheering. Aya and Nami pushed past them to see who the bounty hunter was fighting against. Everybody knows that Daddy the father is the greatest bounty hunter around. Not to mention that he's never lost a duel before. Only an idiot would go up against him, Nami said. Aya placed a hand on her shoulder, getting her attention. You spoke too soon, Nami. Look, she pointed out. Standing back to each other, was the bounty hunter Daddy the father and Usopp, who was trembling, completely terrified. Nami's eyes widened in shock. It's our idiot. Good luck, long nose. We dug a hole for y'all already, so relax. A man from the crowd laughed as he shouted at Usopp. What the hell just happened? Why am I dueling this guy? Usopp panicked, trying to think of a way out of this. Simple rules, walk 10 paces and fire. Usopp tensed up as he heard the bounty hunter explain the rules to him. Oh okay. The sniper sputtered. What the hell are you doing? Usopp glanced over at the crowd to see Nami and Aya. Nami, he cried out to them, looking at them for help. Aya. It looks like you're facing Daddy the father in a duel. Are you nuts? Nami exclaimed, furiously at him. You're not helping. You never have anything nice to say, Usopp shouted back at her. You get one shot. Are you ready? The little girl called out, getting ready. Usopp grew even more tenser. Usopp, listen to me. I only see 2 ways of getting out of this. 1. You face this guy like a man and duel him. Aya called out to him. I don't stand a chance, Usopp shouted back at her. Then take the second option. Just aim the pistol in the sky. It'll put an end to whole thing. Don't throw your life away. 1. The little girl began to count down. Usopp and the bounty hunter started to take paces. Usopp started to see his entire life flash before his eyes. Maybe I should. I want to live, too, but what if he fires before I get the chance to? 3. Run, I should run, I'll throw a smoke star. 4. 5. What was I thinking? This sucks, there's no way I can beat him. 6. I'm going to die, now. This can't be happening. 7. My adventure is just beginning and I'm already going to die. 8. Usopp quickly threw down an smoke star on the ground and ran. The bounty hunter quickly turned around and fired his pistol. Usopp! Aya cried out. As the smoke cleared, she saw Usopp trembling on his knees as he stared at the ground. The gun was knocked out of his hand a few feet away from him. Papa, that was awesome. You're the best. The daughter cheered happily as she ran over to her father. The crowd walked away disappointed. That was just pathetic, one of the villagers said. I don't think I've ever seen such a cowardly move. Another one replied as well. I just shot the coward's gun away. The bounty hunter explained. Usopp gritted his teeth as he shut his eyes ashamed. What were you thinking? Have you no shame, cheating during a duel? You should be ashamed of yourself, it's pathetic. The little girl shouted at him, angrily. Usopp turned around and crawled towards them, facing the two. I'm so sorry, forgive me. I just really too scared to die this young. Killing me would be too easy for you, right? So please don't shoot me. You could just let me go, could you? He asked. The bounty hunter raised his pistol, pointing at the sniper. Nami and Aya quickly ran over, blocking him from getting to Usopp. Whoa, hold it! Nami shouted. Nami, if you want money, my friend has tons she could give you, Usopp said. Nami stared at him in disbelief. Usopp, what the hell? I'm not going to do that, she exclaimed. Come on, help me out a little, Usopp pleaded to her. Aya stepped towards the bounty hunter. Listen, if you want to duel someone then duel Agai. Nami's eyes widen. Aya, what the hell? What are you do? Pathetic, you would let a woman fight your own battles instead of your own. The bounty hunter cut Nami off before he looked over Aya once more. Usopp clenched his fists, worried. The bounty hunter's eyes widened a little, recognizing Aya. Wait a minute, you're the wanted girl. Usopp stood up and quickly pushed Aya behind him to Nami, facing the bounty hunter. Leave her out of this. This is between you and me. This is all on me. I'm the one who got myself into this situation. Please, just leave Aya out of this. The bounty hunter at him, then glancing back over towards Aya, recalling what she had shouted. Wait a minute, what she said earlier. Usopp. Did she just call you Usopp? Yes. Usopp blinked, confused. The bounty hunter looked at him in shock. It can't be. You wouldn't by any chance know a man by the name of Usopp, of the red-haired pirates, would you? He asked the sniper. Usopp. That's my dad's name. Wait, are you saying that you and my father are friends? Usopp asked him, surprised as well. Aya looked at him, surprised as well. How did he know Usopp? So, then you are his son. The bounty hunter sighed. I met your dad and I've never spoken a single word to anyone about that fateful day until now, that is. We met on a hot and dry port every much like today. Daddy the father and Usopp faced against each other at the docks. Their guns aimed at each other while the red-haired pirates and Shanks watched, cheering Usopp on. 1, 2, 3, one of the crew members shouted. The two men both fired their pistols at once. Daddy the father fell to the ground on his back. Usopp clenched his teeth, painfully, as he gripped his right arm. The bullet had only grazed his arm. He won, one of the red-haired crew members cheered. Usopp won, one shouted. He beat the best sniper the Marines had, one crew member shouted out. You da man, Usopp, another one cheered. Usopp smiled. Yeah, alright, finish him, a crew member told Usopp. Killing the loser lets you die with dignity and respect. It's the right thing to do, Usopp. One said to him as well. Usopp walked over and raised his pistol at the fallen Marine lying on the ground. Please, finish me off. There's no reason for me to live anymore, the bounty hunter said to Usopp. Usopp smirked. Yeah, you lost after all. But he lowered his pistol when he noticed something hanging around the Marine's neck and ran over, pulling it off him. It was chain pendant. What are you doing? The bounty hunter exclaimed as he tried to get it back, Usopp opened it up, seeing the picture of the marine's daughter inside of it. "Your daughter?" he asked. "Give it," the bounty hunter shouted at him. Usopp chuckled. "I wouldn't expect a bloody marine like yourself to be treasuring something like this. Guess she must be someone really special," he replied. "And what would a dirty pirate know about that?" the bounty hunter asked him. "Not much." Usopp tossed the pendant back to him and got up and walked over to his crew, taking a seat on a crate. "You were awesome, Usopp," one of them cheered. "No, I wasn't. I wounded him instead of killing him. I still need more practice," the sniper said. "Maybe, but the rest of us would have been killed. You took on Daddy Masterson and lived." Shanks tossed Usopp a bottle of rum and the pirate caught it, taking a drink. "Thanks, boss. I'm glad that you let me duel him and instead of killing him on sight," Usopp replied. "That hits the spot. Hey, you want some, Marine?" He glanced over at the bounty hunter, still lying on the ground, injured. "Family, huh? I could never wrap my mind around that job." "Is that so?" he asked Usopp. "You know, I got a son. His name is Usopp. Haven't seen him in years though. I left him for the sea just when he started walking," Usopp told him. "Why, didn't you love him?" the bounty hunter asked him. "It wasn't that. I loved him plenty. It's just that I loved something else more. The sea was calling for me. Now then, it's too late for me to do anything for my son and I truly regret that. But your daughter, she deserves to have a parent with her by her side. Never let her go when you have the chance. Not that I'm the one to talk." He got up, leaving with Shanks and the other crew members as they walked towards their ship. "I lost our duel, Usopp. You can't leave me here like this. You owe that much to me," Daddy shouted at Usopp. "You Marines may have to follow the rules and do everything by the book, but the best thing about being a pirate is having to do whatever I want whenever I want, later." "That is so cool," Aya commented as the bounty hunter finished his story. "You really knew Usopp? That's amazing. So that's why you left the Marines to become a bounty hunter. It all makes sense now," Nami replied. "Papa, no, a pirate didn't spare your life. Tell me it's not true. Tell me you killed him, right?" his daughter cried, looking at him, hoping that it wasn't true. "Usopp, your father must have been amazing. He beat Daddy the father. And he hasn't forgotten you either. Even now as he's traveling somewhere in the sea, he has an image of his little toddler boy that he left behind," Nami told Usopp. She stopped when she saw him, crying. "Usopp, it's okay, we understand." Aya stared at him, concerned. Usopp shook his head. "There's no way that you could. That's not why I'm crying, there's more to it, I get it. I understand why you told me that story about my father. You told me that so I could try to be more like him. You embarrassed yourself for me. You put yourself beneath me so I would know what type of man my father was. I'll never forget that. Most people would just bury that story and never tell it to anyone. But, you're not afraid of anything. A coward would never do what you just did." He looked over at the bounty hunter's daughter. "Carol, your dad is the bravest man alive. But, the ones who put their honor on the line for others are 1 in a million. I can't. If I accept your dad's mercy, it'll only bring him more shame. I have one choice and that is to face my death. Give me another chance. I have to prove to myself that I am not a coward. A life or death fight," he asked the bounty hunter. "Usopp, are you sure that you want to do this?" Aya asked him, worried. "I have to," Usopp told her. The bounty hunter nodded. "All right, choose the weapon you feel most comfortable with. This will be our final duel," he told Usopp. The sniper pulled out his slingshot, showing it to him. The bounty hunter looked around for a target before he spotted a weather vane far off in the distance. "Good, now, let's see. You must hit that weather vane," he pointed out. Usopp's eyes widened as he stared at it, nervously. Nami and Aya watched nervously as well. "What, that? If you miss?" The bounty hunter pulled out his gun, aiming at Usopp. "Right, you'll shoot me through the heart," the sniper replied. "Usopp." Aya whispered underneath her breath, worried, silently praying. "Please, let him hit it. Please, please, let him hit it." "So this shot determines whether I live or die with honor," Usopp said. "He can't, there's no way he can shoot that far with a slingshot," the little girl shouted. Usopp held out his slingshot as he tried to aim at the weather vane. "Relax, concentrate. It's just another shot. Like 100 before." Then he fired the pellet. He missed. Nami said, worried. Please, don't kill him. Papa, please no. The little girl ran over to her father, begging him not to shoot. The bounty hunter stared in shock before he closed his eyes. I can't because he shot right through the crown, he said. Everyone's eyes widened in shock as well, and Nami took out a telescope, looking through it to see that Usopp's had shot right through the jewel part of the crown of the weather vane. You did it, Usopp. He's right, she grinned. Good shot. The little girl congratulated him as well. Aya crushed Usopp in a hug as she wrapped her arms around him. That's our sniper. Inu Thshe cheered, kissing Usopp on the cheek, making him blush. You're as good a shot as your old man, and a brave one as well. Your father would be proud. Go to the Grand Line, you'll find him there. He deserves to see what his son has become. The bounty hunter told Usopp. The little girl ran over to Usopp, handing him the goggles. You're a pretty good shot, old man. Thanks, Usopp said as he took them from her. She ran back over to her father and the two walked away, leaving the three. Later, wait, Papa, she called out. Now, Carol, don't say, later. It's bad manners. The bounty hunter scolded her. The three watched them as they left. And people say that Daddy the father was a disgraced Marine. But we know the real story. Nami said. My father will see me as a true warrior someday. You'll see, I'll be as brave as Daddy the father. And I will make my father proud. I know it, Usopp said.